What up, 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 what up? Big Steppa Podcast. It's your boy Dove.
Jada Bull.
Yes, sir. We back again, man. Like I said, bro, felt like I just was here and I was.
Yeah.
Sunday, yeah. So we back here, episode 4, season 4. You know what I'm saying? We got a special guest here tonight.
In the building.
Yes, sir, man. He just did something big tonight too. He's got his first award, man. We gonna give him some claps for that.
Yeah. Thanks for coming through.
Sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
You all about business. You could have went out and celebrated, but here you are out here still spreading your message.
Yeah, I'm still spreading the message. Yeah, I'm still spreading the message, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like the work don't stop. You know what I mean? Like it's constantly work, especially when you're running for public office.
Right.
Like the amount of work that you have to put in prior to even being placed on the ballot is tremendous. Like
right.
You still have to get like they say you need to get like 750 petitions before you go up there and your name be placed on the ballot to be voted for.
What is your name?
Oh,
yeah, I was about to say that. I was about to say, let's introduce yourself.
You look like you was going somewhere.
Yeah, I was going somewhere too.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is James Whitehead. I'm the state executive. I'm also city committee for the 33rd Ward, 22nd District. I am also a part of the Nicetown CDC NAS committee and also the Kensington NAS committee as well. I was elected in all of them.
All right.
Wow. Yeah.
I did all that within a year and a half.
Let's go.
That's
Just
major.
dedication and hard work.
Damn, that's major for sure.
Absolutely.
So, just to get into it just a little bit, since you're coming right off it, what award did you win? And
So basically, I won a community award for like doing humanitarian projects and things like that. So I won an award for just being in the streets and putting in the work, actually putting in the work and going out and caring for people, you know, helping people find assistance. They may have a problem with heating. They're keeping their energy on, keeping their property due to the fact that they fell behind on taxes. Helping people transport themselves to Scepter Hubway of Hope. I've done things like that. Like I would just order like a lift and get people down to the Hub of Hope. You know, I mean, I actually talked with Scepter with expanding that. Like,
really?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you not expanding the Hub of Hope per se, but more so the access to it. Because the Hub of Hope is around the 69th Street Terminal. We all know that terminal is large enough to house. And Scepter does a good job with really doing things for the community. For instance, like there are things that Scepter does that they don't have to do.
Right.
That they didn't have to like put security on the train, but they've done it because they feel like it's public safety.
Right.
But I was talking with Scepter because I was trying to figure out a way to like expand it, and I soonly came across that you can't expand it because the platforms are not large enough to house the services that they do at the Scepter Hub of Hope. So I said, let's figure out a way to expand access to it. And I heard back, but they still, you know how corporate gets, right?
Right.
So I said, well, I gotta, figure out a way to help the people. So, calling lifts and getting them down there to there. You know what I mean? Because it was times where I would meet some of the people who were struggling on drug addiction. They said they'll get on the L, but when they get back to 69th Street, they're being attacked because people in that community don't want the type of people. They don't want drug addicts around the 69th Street corridor. So on their ride down to 69th Street, they would always encounter people that would act violent to them. Yeah.
So it sounds like you put feet on land, get things done. Yeah. And you got appreciated for it today. So congratulations on that.
Absolutely, man.
That's dope. I mean, anytime you get, especially when you get a award for helping people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that means a little bit more than some other awards you could win. But I mean, winning an award is good. But
yeah, it's good.
But I mean, for helping people, that's always a good look.
Yeah, but way before I got the award, when people would walk up to me and respect me and things like that, and come to me for help, that was just confirmation prior to the award.
Right. The
award was just icing on the cake.
Exactly.
But the confirmation was the people in the neighborhood.
Exactly. And that's what's up, man. So, you are elected already?
Yeah.
What is your, I just want to be clear, what do you hold in office already? What are you responsible for?
So, it's city committee, state executive, also vice chair to the ward. I didn't even say that, but I'm vice chair to the ward leader.
Okay.
You know, I'm on my way to becoming my own ward leader in a different district. I'm also got elected for the Nicetown CDC NAS committee. Now, the funny thing about this is the Nicetown CDC had over 200 votes, which is the largest voters turnout amongst all NAS in the entire city of Philadelphia. And Ms. Majida, who's over there at the Nicetown CDC, is a good friend of mine. You know what I mean? Like I ran before prior, and I wasn't that dedicated back then. It was probably like a good 5-6 years ago when I ran the first time when I won. But I wasn't as dedicated. I was just more focused on, you know, running my company, the Royal Advertising company that I started. But the second time coming around, like stumbling into politics was like how I got into it was almost like it called my name to do the job, because I was just like, man, I can't sit back that long and watch the quality of life diminish, right? So especially for people that live in the inner city community, predominantly African American people who live in these inner city communities, I just couldn't sit back and watch. Because I was just like, well, nonprofits can work, but government still governs people. And certain laws would have to be passed in order for people to catapult themselves into a better quality of life and have a greater opportunity.
So, what was the earliest age that you became interested in politics?
I was interested in politics around like 23 years old, but then but it was like a love-hate relationship, right? Like I remember something would come on television and I'd just be mad. I used to listen to the song from Korn called F Politics.
And you were 23 at what age?
No, I was 23 years old. I had my 2011. I had my daughter.
Okay, so that's around the time we graduated high school and stuff.
Yeah, I graduated in 2011.
Yeah. So like when 2011. Well, I graduated high
I'm
school.
sorry, I just want to get the timeline right because
it's all good. Yeah, I remember like I remember I was watching something. I think I was watching something Barack Obama debate with oh man, I forgot his name, Mitt Romney. I was watching that debate, and I was just like, I looked at my daughter. I had my daughter like in the rump. I don't know what it's called, but like you lay the baby in it. Like I remember looking at my daughter like, damn, she don't know nothing about nothing. She don't know nothing about black and white. She don't know about Republican, Democrat. She don't know about the things she's gonna have to face. And I remember like, you know what? I started looking into politics a bit more. But my thing was running my company because that's what was bringing the money in to take care of my daughter. You understand? So that was my number one on my agenda to establish my company where I can walk away from it and it'll still make money. I don't have to be there as much. Yeah, it's on autopilot. Right. So like, but then at 23 years old, that's when I started going into politics. Like educate myself on the matter because they don't teach politics in school, and I have a problem.
Not well enough. Not
well enough, right? They just tell you who the president is, how many people in the state level, how many people at the Senate level, who's at the House. But they don't educate you on the actual people that's running. They don't educate you on what people's roles is in politics. Like you actually average person on the street, like, who's the city council? They don't know. Exactly. They don't know. Or you say, what is the role of a city council? What's the difference between council at large versus council in the district? Like, what powers do they have, right? Because most times in the community, when you're mad, you're just mad at everybody. You know how everybody, like I got 2 kids, right? I just had a son. I just had a son.
Congrats on that.
He's been home for almost a week now. And you know how when your kid's mad, they just mad at everybody?
Everybody
like, I don't got nothing to do with that. Like, that's not my role. Like, that was your mom who caught that, right? But like, you understand? So it's like that's the stigma that goes on in the inner city community. Like when things are not working your way, you tend to get mad at everybody. But understanding politics, now what's that? Chartered public schools, private schools, Catholic schools, which is teach politics a bit more because that's very important because you ain't going to get a livable wage.
Especially because I feel like politics are taking, like it was, I would say like it was a little more easy to ignore back then too. It's like, especially like predate 2011 because we have such a strong social media presence. Yeah. So I felt like it was easier for people to ignore it, but now it's like our presidents are on social media. Like Trump was the most social media filled president yet.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
he took over Twitter.
exactly. So I think now that it's more in front of people's faces, like education towards it will actually help a lot more than it did probably in the past. Do you understand what
Yeah, I do because like the older social media get, the more and more use it becomes, right? So like when you're educated, you get a message like nobody can't tell. Like for instance, if your field of expertise was in politics, nobody can't just tell you anything.
Exactly.
You're like, wait, what? No, he's lying.
Or even a little go a long way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just even a little
the basics. Like.
Yeah, because like I met people in real life where they just learned a little bit, and something will come across the screen on social media, and they'll call me up, and they'll just be super excited about it. They'll be like, "Yo, I know that ain't the right way. I know that's not the right way." And I'm like, "You got it?" But it's still 75% more left.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot more on the table than you picked up, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like absolutely. It's like that a lot.
I was actually introduced to politics pretty early because my mom was into it. Like, when what actually got me into politics was around the era, the Obama era, because when he had announced that he was running for president, because my mom always had like the news stations, the political stations on, I already knew that this guy was coming. Like, so I thought it was kind of cool that, like, I already knew prior to like everybody making such, because it was already saying like, oh yeah, this guy might be coming. Like black guys coming out. So I was hearing about it for like a year before he actually announced that he was running for president. So I was like, damn, you could. So I felt kind of like I was just some inside loop. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep keeping up with this shit because I been knew about this. Y'all just found out. So that actually got me into politics. Like Obama basically got me into politics. And from there, I kind of keep up. I'm no expert, especially when it comes to legislations and all that. Like, but I try to like know who's the big movers and like you know what I mean,
the
like,
chain of command, like
how I go a little bit, but I definitely could learn more. But like
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how y'all as like our politicians, y'all obtain so much knowledge and are able to articulate it so well.
Right,
like it's especially in front of all these people, man.
Teamwork.
Yeah, like this shit is crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's obtained. Like for instance, if you Joe Biden had the State of the Union, right?
Right, just recently,
and Donald Trump, of course, him being Trump, right? The guy, oh my God, this guy is crazy. Look, so he said, "Well, I'll make my own State of the Union." No,
I didn't even hear that.
No.
He made his own State of the Union.
He did his own. I'm like, no president.
That's up his alley.
Yeah, that was his outright. I'm like, no president. Oh, nobody has ever done that.
Different.
So he went on to just to almost like, you know what, Joe Biden did his, well, do mine. Yeah. Like, you're not the president. But he felt that it was a need for him to do it.
There's a lot of people in the country that still do think he's the president, though.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of people.
That's crazy, right?
He's very confident that he's going to get voted in again.
Yeah. He's very confident. And, you know, if you're bad passionate about helping people, if you told me otherwise, I wouldn't vote for you, right? Like, like you need to have shared confidence going into whatever you're doing, whether it's rap, podcasting. You need to think that you need to know that you're that guy.
Exactly.
Because that gives you energy to keep going through with it. But however, what I was saying was like when you said that the information that we're able to obtain, like there's certain points, like even interviews. Like interviews is like truly the toughest, especially when you're in front of the camera and no one's moderating it.
Yeah.
You're literally out there. You just gotta look at the camera and just keep talking. Just keep talking, and then it'd be like a teleprompter in the back telling you what to say, because there's so much information that needs to get across that you need help. And the best way to politicians like myself, or state, federal, local level, they're only able to obtain that because they have really good team people around them. Not everyone's good team members. So you got some people that are like moles. Yeah. They just learn what your inner workings are doing and leak it out to the press just to destroy you. So you got a lot of that in politics. Politics has a dark side to it, people. Yeah. So if you're going to join politics, you better know what's coming.
Yeah. Right. Dark side, yeah.
It's a dark side.
See that.
Yeah, it's a dark side.
All right, Mr. James. First question for you that I have is, why Republican?
Because I believe in free market capitalism. I don't believe in.
Okay.
I believe in free market capitalism. I'm also a big fan of the Lincoln Republicans who were originally black.
Which they were.
Yeah, they were. So like I have many other reasons why I'm a Republican. Besides being free market capitalism, I believe in smaller government, right? Because the larger the government is, the harder it is to do things, right? Like it's red tape everywhere, right? So like when you think about capitalism, it doesn't 100% work for African American people, but it's the best way to catapult yourself to making billions of dollars. Had we lived in a communist society or a socialist society, we wouldn't be able to reach those billions. You understand? Like capitalism is being able to run your operation of your business and keeping the earnings and things like that, versus a socialism, communism, when you don't have any control.
Wow.
You understand? Like if you lived in China, totalitarian country or communist country, you're not getting it. It'd be very hard. You would have to know inner workings. Like if you think about the Castro, what's going on over there, he completely controls it, and a lot of Cubans, leave their country and risk their lives to come to America because they have more freedom in order to obtain, better quality of life. So they flee that country because living under a communist regime like Castro, you'll never be able to catapult yourself to the top. It's impossible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before you got into politics, as far as upbringing, were your parents Democrats or Republicans?
Democratic.
Democratic.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, they my mom and it was just like, how? Like how?
Yeah, that's expected.
Like, yeah. So it's just like, my mom was like, how? They was all like, whoa. But then when I stepped out, I took the whippings. I took the lashings. And then, like, my little cousin, Cartina, comes out and says, I'm Republican too. And then it made it cool inside my family for like people to come out and say I'm Republican.
Do their own thing.
Yeah, I
started the wave.
Yeah, I started the wave. I took the lashings. Even in my community in Canaan and Franklin, like Republicans. Well, I want to be, I'm Republican by heart, but my paperwork says Democrat. I'm like, no, we gotta switch that. We gotta fix that. You can't be out here frauding out here.
Yeah, you can't do both, man.
And you felt so. At what point did you become Republican? You always felt that way once you got into politics.
No, I wasn't always Republican, and I didn't always think that way. I used to think that, because we usually are ushered and grandfathered in.
Right.
We're grandfathered in. You just told to pick Democratic.
Right.
And the number one thing was that I used to be told was that Republicans are for rich people. Republicans want to take away food stamps. Republicans want to take things away from you. And that's a blatant lie. It's a blatant lie, right? Okay. So when I started to educate myself and I came across things, I'm like, whoa, Democrats has been doing this for quite some time. Like, think about this. No one party has all the answers. You have to learn how to take what the other party is doing good and take it to what you're doing and make it better. You understand? Like, it's almost like if you're a basketball player and you have Michael Jordan that was before you, and you see he has a certain fadeaway jumper, you try to replicate it and make it your own, or make it better to move the game forward. But that's the same thing in politics. But what made me switch was like, I'm like, yo, there are certain rights that Democrats did. There are certain legislation that Democrats did pass that definitely helped out African American people, and there's also policies and legislation that passed from the Republican side, but that doesn't get talked about.
Right.
Because when you Democratic or Republican, you're not going to talk about the good things Republicans are doing because you want the votes for yourself.
Right.
Right. And this is the guy on the truth. I'm going to say this: social services are needed. And when I grew up, my parents collecting food stamps. Single mother household, getting food stamps, getting public assistance. But it's not where it's at now. And my greatest fear is that those type of policies are making African American people a permanent underclass. Right? Like if I told you that, in order to be able to receive social assistance, you can't make over a certain amount, right? Federal guidelines.
That's exactly what's going on right now.
That's exactly, yeah. So why, like you have, I know people personally to this day that have they'll get a free phone. You see the free phones at every.
Free phones at the.
They don't have to pay for their phone bill, and then you have Comcast Spotlight, which helps low income people to be able to teach their kids through the internet and the low phone internet bill $30, and then I don't know if it's $30 or $35, but then on top of that they lower your phone bill, but then they have another program behind it that will pay the $35 for you. So you get free internet, free phone, free food stamps. You get Section 8. You get PHA, Medicare, Medicaid. You got all of these things. Now, why would someone that depends on government want to catapult themselves into higher earnings when they get all this stuff for free?
Yeah, why get a job? Yeah.
But if you walk out here right now and say, I don't want to be I want to be a nobody. Nobody. You can go right in there and get food stamps. And then when you get the food stamp card, you have to show the food stamp card in order to get the free phone. So that right there, I believe, is truly is messing with the mindsets of the African American people and making them a permanent underclass.
It's a circle going around. Like I deal with people on a daily basis at work, and you know, a lot of people live in households with a lot of people, and they on Social Security, they getting food stamps and stuff like that. But nobody works, so everything that you're saying just makes sense because like it's hindering people and it's crippling them to an extent. To like, I know, like you said, I know people personally too that never worked because they were getting those government benefits, and it made them feel comfortable enough to never want to even do anything outside of what they're doing. So I think like if it affects so many people, I think like the percentage that it affected, especially if you look at our hoods, it's bad, man. Because you know people that could have, you know, did a lot of stuff. People could have played ball. People could have did this. Their parents could have did that. But no, they just want to chill because they're getting that help.
They're getting help.
I would say this though, even though there's people who clearly do take advantage of certain programs and such, there are people who has and who needs it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And a lot of times, and I would ask you as a Republican, and I think maybe we could bring some clarity to that. What exactly do the Republicans do to ensure those people help without just taking the safety net away and just watch? Because the thing is, it's not going to change over time, overnight.
No.
You take away food stamps, everybody not going to just go and start hustling and finding third jobs and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All that's so my question is to you is that what exactly has the Republicans done to ensure a better America for people that vote Democrat and vote for their safety nets? Like what is the alternative that they're providing as a preach? Because you said it's a blatant lie that they're taking away these social networks, but I've personally heard some of these Republicans say they do want them taken away. They just can't. So it's not that they have, is that they haven't been able to get an opportunity to. But if they did get the opportunity and they did take away stuff like Medicaid, food stamps, what are they planning to do to help these people in need? And not just the people that you were expressing about who just wants to just take advantage. Right.
So now Republicans, when they say certain things like they want to, when you think about the debt, like just look at when Barack Obama was in office versus where we are now. The debt is double, right? Like America borrows from the federal print, and they do have a credit rating agency. $30 trillion is the debt. So $30 trillion is the debt, and taxpayers have to figure out a way to pay that back. So what they're trying to do is trying to save it by simply saying, well, we have to cut back, not take it away. Because everyone knew you would never get up there. You would never. I don't give a damn. If I went up there independently and I went to Republicans and Democrats and I said to them, I want to take away food stamps, I want to take away Medicare, Medicaid, they look at me like I'm fucking crazy. You understand? Like, you're crazy. You're insane. You're going to, like, do you understand that there are businesses that benefit greatly off of social services, like the supermarkets, depend and rely on that. So if Republicans are in for business, why would they want to take that social service away completely when there are a lot of private held businesses that benefit from it? What they're trying to do is trying to balance the debt seat. They're trying to balance it because it's growing astronomically. Like, for instance, I know you heard it before. you hear they say Social Security may not be available to us when we get older,
Yeah.
Right.
but we putting all this money in it, but we can't get benefit of it.
And
You crazy?
that's the Democrats doing that.
Now, I'm not. It's the system. It just needs to be reformed. I'm not going to say it's all the Democrats' fault because I haven't looked into it that far into it because that's at the federal level, and me running for local level, that's out of my jurisdiction. This is out of it.
Right.
But I do know that what I can say is for a fact of the matter is that, Social Security might go bankrupt.
Mm.
And with that, yes, might go bankrupt. For instance, look, the number of people applying for social services is doubling. It's doubling. So it's like, damn, the reason why Social Security may not be there because there's more people not working than working.
And my question is, what exactly do Republicans? Because I feel like I kind of get a little irritated with the black people just vote Democrat, right? Because I only been following politics since 2008. Remind you of that. But in my time of every election, every president that's trying to get nominated, I don't hear much from that side about what they plan to do with inner cities. Even Trump's big proposal was, "What do you got to lose?"
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So
He
exactly,
said,
how do
"What
you
got to
get
lose?"
black people invested to vote Republican? Like, I don't like the narrative of just like we're just blindly, because at the end of the day, yeah, you're gonna vote for the one that's keeping your motherfucking food stamps on. Like, just bottom line. Like, if you want food stamps, you're gonna be like, let me vote for the nigga that's keeping my food. So what exactly? Because it doesn't. My point is, it doesn't seem like the Republicans show a lot of attention or care towards minorities in inner cities and exactly their problems. Like, a lot of times it's just lock up the criminals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wonder, like, what like, how do you ensure black people to your side? Well, let's get more personal, you, because you don't speak for all Republicans.
Right.
But how do you convince other people that come from where we from to be Republican?
So I get this all the time. Like, for instance, when I'm registering people to vote, I don't tell people what to register as. But when they, I just don't do that. You choose what you want. I'm not here to, persuade you or manipulate you into changing your voter registration to Democrat or Republican. I'm just trying to get you to register to vote and have a voice and understand the importance.
That's important first.
Of your voice.
Yeah.
So usually when people say, hey, people usually ask me a question, and they always ask me, I'm like, well, I can't tell you, but I can only reference why I turned Republican rather than Democratic.
Yeah.
So, especially with me running, I wouldn't, go that far into it. You understand? So, because certain things you just don't say.
Yeah, I agree.
I hear.
It's just like, I don't like, kind of like on a religious tip, like religion.
Yeah.
Like a Christian, you're not supposed to like batter people, and you should do this and that. So it's kind of the same thing with politics in a sense. Yeah.
It's the same thing.
I wouldn't want nobody coming to me, trying to man, you need to be Republican, such and such. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like you said, you tell your story, explain why you became one, and then maybe, just maybe, that'll rub off on them. If they decide to look further into it, then maybe they'll change their mind eventually.
Right.
I think that's the right way to look at it.
Yeah.
Facts.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Question for you. So you are a black Jewish brother.
Yes, I am.
First one I've ever met. You know
Really?
what I'm saying? Yeah. That I know of. Maybe I have met one before, but I just didn't ever get into that deep into conversation and find out. But so you grew up as, you grew up Jewish?
No, I didn't know. I didn't grow up Jewish. I grew up Christian.
Okay.
So I grew up Christian.
So at what point did you make that?
When I was like 18, 19 years old, and I did some research, and my core beliefs, regarding God and my ancestries, dating back to Ethiopia, and I was just like, yeah, this is it.
Okay.
Because I studied Buddhists, Muslims, Christians, and Jews, and I'm not culturally Jewish. I'm African American, but my religion is Jewish. So
okay.
that when I did my background and my research, it led to Judaism. That's where I went.
Yeah, definitely we got to put that in context. So
Oh yeah.
African American, Jewish is your religion.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you could be culturally
Yeah.
and you could also be religious wise. Like some people are, you know, or Muslim, but they're not like culturally.
Culturally, yeah, there is a difference.
That's decent. Yeah, it seems like you know, like some people don't make those kind of decisions till later in life. But
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you were young and you were kind of, you know, finding your way, figuring out what you want to be and what you want to do for yourself, which is dope.
It was all grandfather. Like
Yeah.
like religion was grandfather.
Of course.
Politics is grandfather. Even running my own company, not per se it was grandfather, but it was something that I wish was grandfather.
Okay.
But it's like Jay-Z said, like we're all screwed if we never have the tools.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna go nowhere if you ain't got the tools. Like
Yeah.
I always said this, and I got a pen at home that said, you know, books saved my life. And my daughter's deeply into books, and I got her into it because she seen me reading, and then she started wanting to read. Like, you know, like where's the pictures at? I used to read books with nothing but words, and it ain't got no pictures in it. She go, this book is interesting. I could do this. But I'm gonna say something like back to what I was saying when Jay-Z said, you know, we're all screwed when we don't have the tools. It's because we don't have the education in order to catapult ourselves. Not only the education is holding us back, but the system is too.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, right? Like for instance, if I went to the bank, there's certain qualifications that I need to have in order to get a loan, but we don't have the same access to capital as you know, majority does. We don't have access to the same capital, and it bothers me. And it's so crazy because it's like, damn, I can get a consumer loan and a student loan faster than I can get a business loan. Like you can go to like a consumer loan, a loan to get the new iPhone, a loan to get a credit card, a loan to get a car lease. You know what I mean? And I guess you go, oh, he looked like he drive a Dodge Charger. I got the right car for you. We're gonna find you one on 50 different banks. We're gonna be here all night. You gotta be in that Charger because you look like a Charger guy.
Yeah.
And it's like when you go to the bank, you go, hey, I want to start my own business, and they go, well, you got a person that's going to be on this loan with you, right? You got any collateral? And it's like, damn, like, you know I don't got that shit.
Right.
You know I ain't got that.
She
like,
gave me that card for like
right,
no
but
problem.
I laid a proposition down that shows you that I'm going to make money because the bank said, like, you know what, I'm not cutting the loan unless I know I'm getting my return plus interest.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I never thought about that. So, I never thought about how the same banks that give you a fucking car loan, like nothing.
Yeah.
I got one,
Yeah.
for example. But if I walk in them up ask for
Business loan.
a business loan for the same amount,
Nah.
nah,
Maybe less.
maybe less.
Yeah, still no.
That's crazy. The same banks.
Yeah,
So that's like they kind of tell you where they want you to be.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's systematically built in, and I wanna relinquish that. And there are certain banks like I wanna say Bank of America is starting to bend towards that, but Chase Bank is starting to break boundaries because they're leading the way in that. Like they cut a lot of loans to small businesses in the inner city community. That's like they'd be like, you know what, they'll do something like this. They're like, you know what, we ain't gonna cut you a loan. We're gonna give you a grant.
Yeah.
Then you read the application and the guidelines to get approval for the grant. The first thing they ask you, are you a minority owned company? About are you minority owned, right? Or does it mean African American or someone that's not the majority that get the loan? And Chase Bank is definitely one of them. I even got a loan from Chase Bank, towards my business. Even though I didn't need it, but I still took it just to establish some sort of credit for my company.
I did hear good things about them.
Yeah,
The last couple, maybe last 6 months, I've been hearing good
Yeah,
things.
they just came to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they just got here. Yeah.
just got here.
It's one downtown, so.
Yeah, he just got here because they was a lot of banks, big like Citibank used to be here. They left. Now they're in New Jersey, but
I remember them.
Yeah, see, I had a city account too.
I had a little thing with Chase a few years back before they got the Philly.
Real?
Yeah, they wouldn't. I couldn't find nobody to cash my check. It's extremely hard. I don't know the last time y'all got try to. I was doing a job for someone and I got a down payment, for $1,500, and that's not a lot of money.
That's not.
But nobody would cash it. I had two forms of ID.
Mm-hmm.
They kept telling me the check was suspicious.
Damn.
See,
Like,
that's the problem.
And I drove all the way because, like you said, Chase Bank wasn't in Philly at this time. This is back in like 2019, 22, something like that. I drove all the way to Jersey to a Chase Bank, and they told me the same thing. They wouldn't cash the check. I ended up having to go to the guy that I was working for was a Jewish guy, by the way.
Oh, okay.
He told me that the guys that he usually pay use a check cashing place right around the corner from where he worked, from where his office is, and I went there and gave him the cash the check, no problem.
It was the cashier's check.
It was a Chase, I guess personal check. Maybe that's what it was. It was a personal.
Oh, it was a bank check.
Yeah, it was a bank check, right? So, but that just showed like I think I was being profiled. I was being racially profiled, and it's crazy because I actually saw like somebody who happened to like a couple months or years down the line. They was saying they had a case. The same thing happened to them. Like they wouldn't let them cash that check. And I was like, damn, I had a case and I slept on it.
Yeah, that happened to me in New York. When I ran my advertising company, I got a check for like it was about like $7,000. And the lady's like, you know what, this shit right there, and I'm gonna call the owner of the check. And then they pat you, and they're like, you gonna fall, but we're gonna soften your fall. But just tell it, because they'll be like, well, you know, we just don't want to be liable for.
Right. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what Chase.
Yeah, that's what
because I spent this whole. I'm like the whole scenario. I'm like, okay, so if I go to the act, y'all are Chase. This is a Chase check. If I can't cash it with y'all, then that means I can't cash it with anybody. No. They wouldn't say that. Like they just would say how they couldn't do it. I forgot it was so long ago, guys. Forgive me. But
my experience with Chase was always good, because I got a check. From Bank of America, $7,000, and I went in there and I got sat down, and it was like we just got called to confirm that this. But I'm like, I can call them. You want to? I call them right now.
Right.
And I sat there for like 20 minutes. I was in New York. And they was like, yeah, he was like, this is James. Yeah, he can cash. I said, James, why? Yeah, sure. You know what? Put him on the phone. And I grabbed the phone. I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, oh, yeah, don't worry. We're going to cash that check for you. We need these services done. But I never had a bad experience with Chase Bank.
Banks was, Philly in general. Philly is racist.
Yeah, I had a couple rough experiences, but trending towards good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trending towards
I was younger too then. I think a lot of times like young black, that we all know how that is. Like how living as a young black male, like you're gonna be profiled. They're gonna think how he, even though I was like $1,500, I look like I can't have $1,500. That's a hurt piece. That was a little bit of a hurt piece. It's like, God damn.
It almost feels like an insult.
It's like you think if I was going to scam, I would scam for a little bit more than this. Like, please, like help me out here, man.
But that is an insult because why can't your counterpart, a white counterpart, they can go in and cash their $1,500
with no issue, exactly. And it was actually one lady. I was really mad about this. I meant to go back and kind of air her ass out, but. Because it almost made us like ruin the business relationship because she literally told us the check was fake. Everybody else made a bogus excuse of why they wouldn't do it. But she tried to convince us it was fake. And my business partner at the time was ready to call the guy we was working for and like air him, like, you know what I'm saying? Like so you're about to make us lose business and all because you're racially profiling and you don't want to say it and you're going to just accuse that our check was fake. So she got away with that one. But I never went back there. She never get my business again. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you just go to places where that treat you pretty well. A lot of people won't go back to Wells Fargo because Wells Fargo was opening up accounts. You know what I mean? Like, they're heading down to a new trajectory. Because I'm really big into stocks. So the new CEO, the new leader, we can't blame him for that because he wasn't there for that. But Wells Fargo was definitely trending in the right direction. But in the past, they were opening up accounts.
They were
Wells Fargo a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, oh man, I got some Wells Fargo stories, man. They used to mess me up a lot. I had them like around that same era, like 2018, 20. I had Wells Fargo's. Man, they made a lot of mistakes with my shit. One time I got paid and I somehow had less money in my account. But they said it went through, and it's like it was like I would call it and it would say how much I have. It'd be like, you have such and such. I'm like, okay, it's there. Go to the ATM. It's not in the ATM. I couldn't get out the ATM. It was weird, yo. It's a lot.
It's a lot. We have a long way to go, but I do want to say that society, like where we are now, with the climate of where we are now, we're starting to trend in the right direction because people ain't having that, right? So we get to a point where you have, different communities standing up for each other and partnering up. Like you have a lot of, Caucasians in the Caucasian community or the Asian community would be like, yo, we can't keep letting this happen. Like I can't just keep sitting here and watch James Whitehead get profiled, or we can't keep letting this happen. Like, you can't even do that no more. Like it's just not acceptable no more. It's not even cool to be that. Like people now, I'm just so happy our social media is around because the message spreads faster. Because the media is no longer controlled by large news stations and corporations where they're able to dictate what they want to put out there. Yeah. Like Trump always says, fake news, fake news, fake news. It happened to me. It happened to me before. Like I was like, yo, like, huh? What? I read an article online about me. I'm like, no,
Where'd you get that?
Where'd you get this from? Who'd you get that from? But all the articles online about me is relatively good, and a lot of people, it's so good that other people in politics or around politics to go, yo, we have a Twitter account called, I don't know if it was you about Philly Blast, Philly Blast, and they was talking good, and on there they're like the gossip girl, the XOL girl, like. They just
I've been checking them out.
Been checking them out?
Yeah.
Yeah, like nobody knows. It's like you ever seen a show Gossip Girl? Nobody knows who's spreading all these lies and gossips, but you know it's around you. And I was like laughing at some of the stories because I know these people personally. And then my picture popped up. I'm like, whoa.
Now it's not funny, huh?
No, it ain't funny no more. I'm like, whoa. I was next to my friend. I'm sitting next to him. I'm like, yo, I don't want to scroll down. You scroll down. He's like, no, you scroll down. It's your story. I scroll down and it was good. I'm like, wow, they like me.
Oh.
And then I get a text message in the middle of the night in the call, like, yo, what did you do to get them? Did you pay them? I'm like, I don't even know who's controlling it. But whoever's controlling Philly Blast keeps.
Yeah, shout out to them for you.
I follow them on Twitter. I've been checking them out. See the posts now.
Yeah, because only two people they like the Research Park and they like me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I must be doing something correct.
Right, absolutely.
They're talking about me.
One place I want to get to, like, real quick with you. I heard you say something about Kensington.
Yeah,
Can you spend time and can you do what there?
So I do like a lot of community service work out there.
So you see the mess and craziness going out there.
I got stories.
Oh man,
I got stories.
What do you think is going on, and do it look like it's a way out? What's going on out there?
How can we fix it?
I'm gonna be real with everybody on this podcast, and I'm gonna be real to the viewers. You will never be able to fully eradicate crime, fully eradicate poverty.
Right.
To live is to die. To have it is not to have it. And that's just the way life is. But what you can do is curb it. Do I see Kensington problem getting better? Like when we talk about Kensington is not a community. Nicetown is not a community. What else is not a community? Point Breeze is now a community because they gentrified it and made it that way. A lot of the inner city communities that predominantly has African American people in there are not communities because we're killing each other off for limited resources. What community can grow? Community is all about sticking up for each other and growing. Like for instance, if y'all lived on my block and somebody breaking in the house and I'm sitting here talking to y'all, laughing with y'all, we are at each other's houses, we know each other's family, how would you feel if y'all went on vacation and y'all know I seen the person breaking into the house? You'd be like, damn, you supposed to be my man.
Right.
Like, you ain't tell me? So communities stick together. Like for instance, it doesn't make sense to kill off your community because your community can't grow. So you might have killed Rara, who live on 22nd and Burks, and just because he's, you know, he may not even be in the streets. He just may be knowing people in the streets. You aim at him and kill him. He might have been the next Usain Bolt. He would have took those $400 million and pushed it back into the community. The reason why our communities are the way it is because we're fighting for limited resources, but not knowing that we can make the most out of a little bit. You know what I mean? And Kensington, the neighborhood, once it gets gentrified, they'll turn to a community.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is the mindset of the people. Once they get moved to another neighborhood, it's just gonna be the same story. Look at if you take the L train, get up on the L train, get off on York and Dolphin, get off on Girard. Now, Fishtown wasn't always like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people got misplaced, and a lot of Caucasian people, a lot of Irish and Italian people got misplaced out of that community, and people from other cities started moving in there. They just move up. The problem just moves up. So the neighborhood, you ask me, is it trending in the right direction? Yeah, because it's going to get gentrified. But are the people, where are they going to go?
Yeah, because that's what, I mean, when I first moved to that area, like I said, I was in Harrogate first. When I first moved on my block, it was mostly white people that lived on that block. It was probably like, I think I was like the third black family moved to that block. By the time I moved from there, which was like 2010. So from 2004 to 2010. By the time I moved in 2010, it was majority Puerto Rican and black.
White flight came. It's called white flight. It's a real word.
And then I moved deeper into Kensington. That was the bit. Like Harrogate it was okay. It was like okay. It was like regular shit. But then I moved deeper into Kensington, and then that's when shit got real. I moved to around Aramingo and Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And even though my block was okay, like everything around it was crazy. Like, and it was the same thing, like you said. Like, it was weird because it started to seem like the people from North Philly. Because this is true. Like, a lot of people that lived on my block when Janie, who were black, who just moved there too. Like, nobody was on my block once I moved up to that part of Kensington was there for a long time. They all just kind of got there, like, in the last, like, 10 years or so. And they all were from, like, North Philly and stuff. What tells me that when they were gentrifying North Philly, they were moving everybody down to Kensington.
Yeah. Everybody go to Kensington.
Right, everybody.
You on drugs, go to Kensington.
Go to Kensington. Like,
go to Kensington. We're going to move you over there. We got a place for you.
Yo, so it's like, I see exactly what you mean. Because you look at North Philly, and a lot of North Philly ain't the same North Philly from back in the day. Like, Temple took over a lot of it. You know, you got Temple, like, campuses, not campuses, but dorms, houses, whatever. Housing developments, that's all for them. They're not moving in regular people into those. Those are all for students. You got gentrification buildings, they're going up there and there. So I think exactly right. And now is Northeast. Everybody ran up into Northeast, and now Northeast is going crazy. Now Northeast is popping a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, when we was in high school, everybody was running up there.
Yeah, it was not. You was right. That was like you was moved up. Like that was
out there. You go out there to chill because you know you ain't had no problems. Yeah.
Right, Northeast.
Yeah, the reason why you made it. Like now it's like now all the drama is out there. So and it's funny too because the way I look at it is that these white people they want their transportation back. I think that's the reason why they sending us out there and they're moving back here because. Why should the niggas have the best transportation? So, like, cause I used to live, bro. The only thing I loved about living by Kensington is I could get even though I had a car, I could get anywhere without a car in like 15 minutes because the L's right there. I could take the L to the sub. I could take the 5 downtown. I could take the 60 up the north. I could take the 60 down south. Like you could get all over the place.
It's very convenient.
Very convenient and very convenient for biking. All those hips, that's what they love about Fishtown. You could bike everywhere. You could get to the transportation, like go green, shit like that. So they don't want to be out in the boomies no more. They want to be here in the city. So they fucking up the city for now, so they can move them all in, move us all out into the boonies to do drugs in the woods. Or some shit.
Do want to say that. All right, here's the fact: the highway system was built like you understand. Like every major metropolitan area has a suburb. Houston, Dallas, they got Fort Worth, we got Bucks County, Montgomery County. The highways were built so that it can make it convenient for people that live in the counties to get to
To
the
get
center
to
of
the
the
city. Right.
And I do want to say this as well.
But gas is now too high. It's too
Yeah, so
expensive to do these things now. Like their parents are better off. Their parents could afford to go back and forth out the city. They can't really afford that, so they want to live in the city now.
Now, here's the thing. I want everybody that's listening and everyone in this room. Gentrification just doesn't affect African American people. It just affects us the most. Because when I was down there in Fishtown, I got clients down there. Clients who ran pizza shops in the Caucasian. Now, here's the thing. When gentrification comes in, it's usually not people from the city of Philadelphia. Like, even though well, let's just say if I was born Caucasian, right? And, like, you got two different sides of the spectrum. You have poor and you have poorer. There are Caucasians that's still poor.
Mm-hmm.
They not, get supplemental income. Let's think about it. If you made $80,000 and you don't get no social assistance, you don't qualify for it. When you got to pay all them bills yourself, and you look at your bank account, and you like, oh, like, damn, I don't have no money. I'm poor. I'm just not poorer, but I'm poor. Here's the thing. My client, Mike, who runs Fishtown Pizza, he's been in it for all his life. He's Caucasian. He's like, yo, James, I'm afraid that we can't use you no more. And I'm like, why? He said, because the people moving in, like hipsters are moving in from other parts of America or coming from D.C., New York, and the developers, once the developers build, it raises the value on your property via taxes or rent, right? So I want black people to understand that this doesn't affect us, it just affects us, majority of us, but there are Caucasians who don't like gentrification because it takes away that. Like Mike cried. When I was leaving, Mike like, yo, my family owned this place for years and now I'm about to lose it. Yeah, I'm gonna call him when I leave out here to see how you doing, but I didn't talk to him like 2-3 years. And it hurt him and I seen it. I'm like, damn, he's affected by gentrification just as much as any African American person in the inner city. It affects us. You look at Point Breeze, down South Philly.
Yeah.
Look at Brewery Town. Look at Fishtown. If you get on the L right now, I take the L every day. You get there, a lot of that from like Gerard, like York and Dolphin, Berks, that was mainly Caucasian, right? A lot of them are not there no more because you can't afford it. It's not a choice of theirs. And then you have other Caucasians that move in that may have it. But we can't marginalize them and put them all in the same bracket.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, I want to get a little honest with you because you said something earlier, and it involves what we're talking about now.
Absolutely.
You said you believe in free-form capitalism.
Mm.
Do you not see what happening as kind of
Free market?
yeah, like that problem? Like that's kind of the problem.
I'm glad you asked me. Here we go. I'm about to get it real. I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this. I want y'all to do your homework. I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this. They call me good trouble in the political circles. They don't hate me because they know I'm telling the truth. Let me tell you something. Understand that city council has a power.
Okay.
City council controls zoning. You cannot break down a house and build up a 4-story condominium without the zoning.
Right.
In order to get the zoning, you have to go through city council. So here's my thing. When someone wants to run for city council, they don't got no money. You need money to run. You need money to run. I'm running. You need money to run. You have some people in city council that will sell their neighborhoods. They may not, like, if y'all were developers, and y'all go, oh, we Point Breeze. Oh, that's James' neighborhood. You know what? Let's put money into his campaign. They're not going to say, because the FBI be on your ass. You can't say certain things like, you know what? I'm going to sell Point Breeze, because South Philly is large. You go, I'm going to sell Point Breeze to these developers so they can develop. You don't say it, but you know the language. Like, right. It's like being on the block. Like, yo, we say certain things. It's like key for the police may be around the corner, or it's key for.
I mean, I seen The Wire. I saw what Stringer Bell was trying to do.
Yeah. So yeah. So the city council.
Like you gotta grease the hands, and you can't say it. You can't be direct, but certain people gotta be greased to get shit moving.
Yeah.
As a developer.
So city council, certain people and city council do sell in neighborhoods
Mm-hmm.
for a donation to the campaign.
Right.
Now, us, whether you're Caucasian or whether you're black, and you live here in the city and you're about to be moved, you got to hold the council available. I mean, you have to hold them accountable.
Right.
Like, yo, like this happened on your watch. This is your district. You control zoning. How you let this happen? Like, how did that get built up there? When you control the zoning, you said you was for my people. You was for us.
Yeah.
But for the looks of it, it looked like you for the new people that's coming in. Because
Right.
think about it. When you're a politician, your job is to work for the people moving in. Like not moving in, but people that live there.
Right.
But when you moving in new people, you have to have like the same ideology as the new people coming in. Like you understand what I'm saying? Like the people that like whether you're Caucasian or African American and you're in the community, their mindset is not going to be the same as the people moving in. Like, would you pay $2,500 to live on 23rd and Burks? Would you?
No,
No.
I wouldn't. But
right.
I know the people doing it because that's why they building them.
Right, and then you got so your mindset is different. You're not the person that's coming in going by $2,300. Well, hell, I was paying $6,000 in New York,
You're right.
right? So the mindset is not even the same.
And
so
that's New York. That's a good point too.
yeah, I lived in Brooklyn, Bedford-Stuyvesant,
Yeah.
Green.
How long you lived up there for?
Ooh, for a while, almost like 9 years.
So all right. So you're seeing the transition, right? Like how like pretty much New York is getting too overpriced, too overcrowded.
Yeah.
And now Philly is becoming like the adopted sister. Everybody's
Yeah.
rushing to.
You- Yeah,
How do you think
absolutely.
that's going to end?
It's already happened. It's going to be a lot of people being misplaced throughout the city of Philadelphia. And it's not over yet. A lot of neighborhoods are going to be getting gentrified because we have this this thing where it's called I'm trying to think of it. Hold on. A tax law for developers to develop. Like they don't have to pay taxes for a certain amount of time, or they have to pay lower taxes. But city council did something that I liked it, and they went back to revisit it. They was like, well, how come XYZ development can get a tax break, and I've been living in the city of Philadelphia for almost 30, 40 years, and I can't get a tax break? So what city council did was revisit it and said, you know what? They're right. We're gonna move down your tax rate because they get cheaper property tax. Like Philadelphia has the second highest tax. Their tax is higher than New York City.
Damn.
15.6.
Never knew that.
What,
Shit, wow.
even on small businesses. How do you expect small businesses to grow if you're taxing them heavy?
Yeah.
Or how do you expect people that lived here for centuries, or not centuries, for decades, be able to stay here? You can't say, I want Philadelphians to stay. That's why they're moving to Wilmington, Delaware. They're moving to Newark, Delaware. They're moving towards the county. Like, you know what? It's cheaper. It's more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Because they feel like,
I've been thinking about it.
yeah. So the new Philadelphia is no longer for them. Because I told you, the city council passed a law for a cheaper tax. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called a tax amendment, I think it's called. And it allows the developers to pay lower property taxes, and they can take advantage of that. That's why they develop it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something. If you go to York and Dauphin and get off on the train, look at those new buildings. Nobody living in them. They're building faster than they can put people in.
Yeah, I did notice that. Actually, I'll take it even closer. Go down. What is that strip? Shit. That strip right on right before you hit Aramingo. I want to say it's Venango or something. They just opened a huge Kensington project, like housing condo.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was just
Across from a Save-A-Lot.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about?
know what you're talking about.
I'm like, who lives there? It looks amazing. It looks good. They say welcome to Kensington, like it's something to brag about.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, like this is crazy. Like it's crazy, and it's really crazy because not even you could throw a stone and hit it. There's people sleeping under the bridge. All these drug addicts and tents and mattresses and starting bonfires and it looked like Gotham out there, motherfucker.
Yo, would anybody actually like, yo? I'll put it out there, go like, this doesn't look real.
No, it
Like,
looks
this
like
Gotham
Gotham,
City.
bro.
Batman series or something.
One thing I would definitely, one credit I would always give Kensington is that motivated me more than anything to work harder. Because I had my first child when I lived in Kensington. And all I can remember is pushing her in the stroller and seeing that shit and thinking like, yo, she can't grow. At that time she was too young to recognize. She don't, she was like 1 year old. But I'm like, I don't want her to grow up seeing this shit. So I hustled, got a car, got my first car in like a couple of months, and then the next step was getting the fuck out of there, and we did that because it was like, yo,
yeah, it gives you a certain grind.
Yeah,
like my grind. A lot of my grind came from living in Kensington, Frankfurt. I owe Kensington, Frankfurt, and Brooklyn to like to how I am today. Like that growing up in those environments.
It motivates you. It either motivates you or bring you down. It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah, we already know what bring you down, man. You on drugs.
Absolutely no
You
way.
on drugs.
Or, I mean, even the people that wasn't on drugs there, they just, I feel like they got complacent.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, they just kind of accepted it as the norm. And I'm like, this shit ain't normal.
Y'all was just talking about the welfare, the food stamps. That's why they stagnant. Like,
there's no incentive to grow.
Mm.
Right? There's an incentive to stay, but what's the incentive on me growing? I gotta pay these, knowing that, well, if I don't get social assistance, I can very much be just like us in the room paying $2,500 rent. That scares the hell out of them. Yeah. Like I even called, like I did a Nicetown CDC, we did a workshop on home ownership. And a lot of them were very afraid because they was just like, man, that means that if I'm the landlord, that means I gotta fix the problems. I can't imagine that. So I don't want to do that. Yeah. It's just too much for me. It's just too much work.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like that.
Yeah, it'll never be. And I'm gonna say something else. There will affordable rent is ownership. You're never gonna like. People need to stop this notion. Like they think that we're going to be fighting for affordable rent. You're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get it. Like you'll get it in the sense of Section 8. PHA government things, but outside in the private in the private sector, no, you're not going to get that. Yeah. Like so, you might as well just become a homeowner, so that way if you're paying off rent, right, you'll be able to own it. Like ownership, that's what we got to push in the community. Ownership.
I agree.
I agree. I just think sometimes, I'm not saying you're doing it particularly, but I just think a lot of time people underestimate how hard it is to start from nothing sometimes. It's extremely hard. And I would say a lot of people, even though it might come off like they're afraid of losing food stamps, I think that comes with a doubt that there's real opportunity for them to upgrade. I think this country needs to do a better job of assuring people that without social services, you will be able to feed your children without it. Right. Because I'll tell you the truth. I come from food stamps.
Me too.
And I didn't want to be on it, but I was also afraid of losing that shit. Cause you know, when you try to pay, like, when me and my wife, got our first apartment young. Like, we were young. I was like 23. Got our first apartment. 2 kids. You need those food stamps, bro.
You do.
You know what I'm saying?
You do. That's the reason why you get it. Look,
right.
The reason why you gotten it, why you had a job, is because you didn't make enough to be able to afford that.
Right,
so
exactly.
The guidelines in order to get that sort of subsidy, they go like, damn.
Especially back then, like, it gotten better. I'll be honest and say, like, it gotten better, like, as far as, like, job opportunity. Because around that time, that was when everybody wanted to hire you, but they only wanted to be there for, like, 20 hours. Yeah. It was part-time, like, everything was part-time. It was like, how the hell am I supposed to support my family on like 20 hours? I remember I was UPS.
I've been there.
Oh my!
Cut my beard off. Never started the job, man. I was walking around like
You cut your beard off to get
I had just graduated high school. I think it was the same year. So I had my little mustache and everything coming in. So they like, I go to the interview and everything. Yeah, man, we're gonna get you the job. Yeah. So they like, but you gotta, shave and all that. Right. So my shit just coming in. I'm a little happy. I go butcher my joint in the bathroom. Cut the mustache off, chin hair. So I go. It's like around Halloween. It's like around Halloween because in the holidays that's when they get the upkeep. They get the more work. So I go to a Halloween party that same night. Terrible. Everybody laughed at me.
But
The next day, I called on the job to see what's going on. No answer. I called for a week and a half, bro. Never ended up working there.
Oh, I would have sued them.
you told me
Emotional distress.
I think I should never recover. I think I should never recover. Man.
You definitely should have sued.
Yeah, man. And that part-time shit at that time, bro, part-time was heavy, and it's just like, yo, I want a full-time job. Like,
Right, exactly. It was hard, man. Especially, and it's like, it was like they were kind of even holding it against you that you was young.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you only 23. You don't need that. You don't need this job.
Young man, strong as ox right now.
Like, I need this time. Like, why are you playing with me? Yeah. Like, I used to hate, I remember I did security, bro. They put me on the schedule 3 days a week. Then one out of nowhere, it dropped to 1. I quit immediately.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I was like, Saturday. That's the only day I had. I looked at my schedule, Saturday. I'm gone. I hated that job too anyway. So
you didn't like it?
Security? Oh man. And I was doing it for like grocery markets, like Save-A-Lots and shit. Like it was terrible, bro.
You didn't like it? Yeah, I worked at Save-A-Lot. It was crazy because Save-A-Lot was like was one of my favorite jobs I worked at. I worked at the Save-A-Lot down in South Philly.
Not security though, like actually
no,
for the store.
Cash, yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Like I truly enjoyed it. I was like 21, 22. I enjoyed it. I truly did. It was like cause I was always busy. I said, well, if I'm going to work a dead-end job, it's just
something to get you.
give me by, and it did get me by. And then I worked at Kmart. I left Kmart prematurely. I left Kmart because I seen the downfall. That's when I started getting, like 2009. I was into the stock market.
Yeah, that was when they started plummeting in 2009.
Went downhill. Sears Aerobic. Sears Aerobic owned Kmart, Sears. They owned another retail store, and they all went down the drain. And I remember on the stock market, I was like, well, Sears Aerobic is falling apart, and I'm like, well, I'm not that important, so let me go down.
Right.
Like usually when the company goes down, all the important people get cut first.
That's funny that you're saying this too, because the exact same thing happened with me at Toys R Us. I worked at Toys R Us for 3 years.
Oh, you was the plug, man.
I was the plug, yeah. And, people hit me up around Christmas, wanted a little 10% discount or whatever. But I did. It was the same thing. It was like
for that.
the stores were so empty after Christmas was over. After Christmas is over, the stores become such a wasteland. It was like, yeah, this shit's going under.
Damn.
I'm like this store is going under.
Yeah.
And my last season there, the last Christmas I was there it wasn't even as like busy as the Christmas before because more people started shopping online, going to Amazon. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't even like that. Like it used to be like on Christmas Eve, the rush used to be crazy. I don't even think it's like I haven't been out there in a while. Like to be honest, I haven't been out there on Christmas Eve in a while. But
where's Toys R Us at?
Well, Toys R Us is gone. That's what I'm saying. Where they come
Aramingo, I used to go there.
Yeah, that's the one I worked at.
Aramingo?
Aramingo. Yeah, I worked there for 3
I went
years.
there on Black Friday back in 2014, and I waited out there in the cold. I said, I can't do something. We're going online.
I was working there.
I'm not standing in line.
I was working there in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. What was it around? What was you there for? Black Friday?
Black Friday, yeah.
Black Friday.
I probably worked that night. Everybody worked Black Friday. And the whole staff is on.
I know y'all was getting that OT.
Toys R Us should have took the Spirit business model. I just think they was into too much that. You know how Spirit is smart. Spirit knows that, hey, no more brick and mortar. Brick and mortar is dead. That's why a lot of the malls are dead.
Right.
Nobody's going there, right? If you ain't the Mall of America or King of Prussia, nobody's coming. Right? You can't sustain it.
We're in the mall right now.
right. Oh my God. The Sixers might take this.
Right.
Y'all was coming, yeah.
Yeah, about that. That might actually happen. Like they did all this to revamp this. I mean, it's nice. I would like. It's nice. It's good stores here, but it's just that people don't shop out like that no more. Like all I see is a bunch of kids spending their time here after school. Be the same. It would never be the same for
me. When we was in high school, this shit was,
the
gallery is golden.
Yes,
the gallery is golden. Like
bro. In high school, oh man,
it was a different time, man. Just being out here, the
you was
atmosphere,
either just chilling, stilling,
lying,
the lying or thrilling,
talking
like,
to somebody girl.
Yeah, like it was just it was a something, man.
It was a time.
It's if Toys R Us took Spirit business model, because Spirit was like, you only gonna see me during September, October, and November.
Yeah.
December come, I'm out of here.
Good.
Right? They do like you understand? Like you have this is a spirit that always is every year. They go to Broad Street. I think it's like Broad and Walnut. It's a spirit, and they only stand temporarily because they know their season.
Good.
But their e-commerce online, you could always buy
Good.
online. They just said, well, people don't like to always wait online, especially when it's during the season.
Wait, spirit. The thing about you talk about Halloween spirit, right?
Halloween spirit.
Yeah, I actually do like going to this Halloween spirit. I just my kid's last Halloween costume came from there. Like,
Yeah, all my Halloween
Yeah, come from
daughter.
It's something about
Is it Willow Grove? Where is that?
they pop up all over the city. The one I went to was the one up City Line Ave.
Okay.
But they got a couple pop up shops. Yeah,
They do.
yeah. It's a great business model. I mean, I'm pretty sure they make more than enough in that small amount of time. Like it was a line when I went. It's always a line outside of stores until then the day after Halloween, it's like they was never there. Don't try to return on costume. You gonna pull up and ain't nobody gonna be at that moment.
You know what used to get me? I'm like, yo, how do they move all that out of the store so quick?
Bro, and they pop up out of nowhere. It's like October hit and you just they're there. Like they just fucking there.
No announcement, just pull up.
But what I wanted to say was like pertaining to the job part of it, when like that's the tough part. Like when Trump was like, yo, I want to bring back manufacturing to the United States. I want to make, like, I don't know all the business model in his Make America Great Again, but manufacturing was one of the great parts of America because you can come out of high school and get a line job at Ford and make $50,000 a year with a high school diploma because we had the power of manufacturing because we used to make in the world with tape, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when when labor costs and taxes drove all of these businesses away for cheaper labor. Like right now, I run an advertising company, right? And I know I'm gonna get I'm gonna get a lot of slack for this. I'm just hesitant. I'm gonna say it anyway. So you can go to what is that website called? I forgot the website. ph.jobs, right? Mm-hmm. And you can hire somebody remotely and pay them $1.50 an hour. ph.jobs, like yeah, these people are $1.50 an hour just to give
overseas.
Yeah, they're over in the Philippines. So a lot of them are Philippines. They got degrees too.
Cost of living is cheaper over there.
So we can't compete with that. I can't compete with that.
Hell no.
How are you gonna compete with American $1.50 an hour? Like so.
You got like no choice but to play ball. That's what you saying.
Yeah, but those type of jobs are going overseas,
right?
And you have countries like China that manipulate our currency.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you how they do that. The American dollar is only strong and backed by its interest. So the higher the interest rates goes, the stronger the dollar becomes. You think the strongest currency in the entire world is the Kuwait dinar. If you went over there with $1 and say, hey, let's exchange fair value, they're gonna look at you like, what? You think you better get fair value? Here's 5 cents of our money. That's how powerful they have gold.
Where is this?
Kuwait, the Kuwait dinar.
Kuwait.
If you look at the currency converter, yeah, $1 is only worth 5 cents in their money. That's how strong their money is because they have things backing it. They have oil, gold. They have things that gold that they manufacture there that you can only get from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, the Kuwait dinar is powerful. So what I was saying was, all of that plays into the job market because my problem is you can't keep raising the cost of living and not have jobs with salaries that can support that, sustain that. And even you know what I was happy about? And this is going to also piss a lot of people. I love pissing people off. You know what I mean? Give me a hand clap for that, man. I love
Drop a bar.
There we go. Round of applause. I like pissing people off. All right, so when we seen the pandemic come past, it really trashed a lot of businesses went down. My business went down the drain. It was bad for me. And I was like, yo, why the hell don't they just open this up and just... I got mad about it. And then I was just like, yeah, well, where the hell is the grants at to keep it sustainable because a lot of people was getting PPP. Remember the PPP?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was like, yo, at one point I was like, yo, when I applied for the PPP, I wasn't even qualified for it. I said, I'm a real business.
Right.
Yo, I was getting ready to get the talent.
I
I was like, yo, Roger up the block got $2 million.
because they was capping. The amount of you probably went up there and told the truth. Them niggas was capping.
I ain't
That's
getting
why
no
they
money.
got.
I was getting ready to be shit. I was getting ready to go to the neighborhood's code. Like,
Right.
yo, Roger got $2 million. He lying. Get his ass. I was getting ready, but that pandemic really, it was a gift and a curse. It was a curse because a lot of businesses went down for that.
Yeah.
It was a gift because a lot of people was like, oh, now we get to stay home and collect. Like, think about this. I love Donald Trump for this. When Donald Trump had that pandemic, he didn't take care of like. I'm not here to say if it was real or the COVID was fake. I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk about like the economics of this shit, right? So when I'm thinking about Trump was like, yo, we gotta shut it down because we're getting data back that people are dying. So let's close it down. But we can't tell people to stay home and not cut a check because bills are due. Think about this. When Trump was in there, everybody was making $880 a week. Just sit home.
Mm.
Just sit home. $880 a week. People were living it up. King of Prussia Mall was always empty. You know what I mean?
People taking vacations.
People was taking vacations. But that was the gift of it all because that was the beauty of it because that made people want to, you know what, I got to get back to this.
Yeah.
But some people was like, you know what, I don't know how to make 880. I know how to take 880, but I don't know how to make it. And that's when you're seeing people going rampant, like doing robberies, the murder rates start going high, carjacking start going
Ridiculous,
up.
man.
It was ridiculous. It was like a gift and a curse. But when Trump was like, hold on, I'm about to make this, if we continue this is the reason why he wanted to stop it prematurely. Because he said, yeah, I'm going to give you 880. I'm going to give you $12,000 after you receive your $12,000. I'm going to give you 880. Like, he did that. But then he was like, oh, we can't keep putting all this money out there. We can't keep printing money because it's going to drive, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's inflation.
Yeah.
Inflation. In order to keep the shelf stock, I put this on my Instagram. In order to keep the stuff, King of Prussia was empty. Empty. You couldn't get. If everybody had $1 million, $1 million is not value as it once was. The $1 million is valuable because not a lot of people have it. Majority of the people don't have it. So when you get your first million, like, damn man, you got money. But if everybody had $1 million, it's not worth anything.
Yeah,
So in order to keep the shelf stocked, you would have to move up the price of production. You would have to move up the price, the product, that way that you can control what's on the shelf. So if you had $1 million, how would you feel if I had my 880 and I'm in front of all y'all and I say, you know what? I got enough money to buy all the Louis sneakers. You can be like, yo, ain't this about a what? Yo, put 3 back for me. So they do that in order to keep things stocked on the shelf without going empty. Now, imagine that being the food market. It ain't no eggs. You'll never find an egg. Like, you're going to be eating duck eggs and alligator eggs. Like, hey, honey, what we eating? Alligator eggs. You scrambling that because you can't get the chicken eggs. You'll be eating rooster eggs and shit like that. But, like, what Trump understood was that this is going to put us further into debt. And it's going to, when we do shut it off, we might mess around being in a recession in a sense. Because the inflation is so high. Now, mind you, in order to battle inflation, you have to move up interest rates. Interest rates on car loans, interest rates on consumer loans.
Yeah.
There are even property loans. Look at the interest. What is it, like 6.5%?
Bad.
Yeah, that's why you don't have a lot of people going out there trying to get a home because they ain't trying to take that that high interest rate. My mom did that. My mom was like, yo, when I can't wait to the interest rate lower so I can refi because she's paying an extra $380 extra on her mortgage.
That's wild.
That's wild. So Trump was like, yo, when we do take this away, understand the floor is going to fall underneath us. But when Biden got in the office, he didn't give you 880, he gave you 450, 440, somewhere around there every week. That requires more borrowing and more spending. So I wanted Trump to end it prematurely. But when he lost, because that happened at the end of his term.
Right.
And Joe Biden came in. Remember, he was saying, hey, but you know what? We ain't going to give y'all aid. We're going to extend this for another year until November 24th, 25th. And y'all going to get 440. Y'all going to get half of that. That means more borrowing.
He gave us that last stimulus check, too.
Yeah, the last stimulus check. All that money that comes with a price. Ain't nothing free.
I just think things need to be done with responsibility in mind, because I don't think it was. I found it. I didn't think it wasn't really that much wrong with the American people getting broken off by the government. The government break everybody off. Why can't the poor man get a couple of dollars?
Yeah.
I didn't find a problem. It was how, like, again, it was how they did it.
Mm.
It's like they just never seem to get it right with us, because it's like y'all let people take, like, for one, I'm also not gonna blame people for taking advantage of the system.
No, hell no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but why was it so easy to manipulate? You know what I'm saying? They make it easy for people to do things and then be like, oh, you're in trouble for doing it.
Yeah.
It's like
America never prepared for that.
yeah,
America
that's the part is true.
Never prepared.
Mm.
Because you know how somebody said, oh, that would never happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't never think a pandemic would take over
That's-
America like that.
Never. Never. Like, that's
I like that.
that's on the level, that may be, that thing shut down the world.
Yeah,
The Spanish flu didn't shut down the world.
No.
Spanish flu.
and
you guys-
Ebola, all that shit that came through, it barely touched us.
we wasn't prepared. Just like the financial system. Remember the times when people was getting their payouts for the PPP or
PUA.
PUA? It was crashing. The system was crashing.
Mm.
It wasn't prepared to take on that. Like when you go to a website, it has bandwidth.
But that's why I'm saying, that's why it's just like, I think it's petty to be like arresting people a little bit about that, because it's like, y'all made it easy. Y'all
think it's petty?
a little bit, like, because it's like, bro,
Some of that money got to be accounted for or something.
I'm
not saying-
it went to,
I'm not saying
listen, it
small
went,
stuff,
Go
but
ahead.
some of these people really got to overcome something crazy, bro.
Remember the guy?
But you know, but rich people do it all the time.
All right,
They
should-
find loopholes. They
should be
find
They should
loopholes. They found ways to work around shit to build their wealth. I'm not mad at a couple of niggas that found a way to do it too.
Wasn't
It was a lot.
Well,
The
it was
guy-
a couple, but it was nowhere near the budget. Everything they spent on PUA and everything don't touch what they spent on wars, what they spent on
I'm not even
like, you know what I'm
getting
saying? All that. So it's like, out of all the things y'all can fuck with, out of all the things y'all can have an issue with that we spend money on, of course the poor people gotta be the ones to pay. That's my point.
Yeah. So I hear what you were saying too. Like you made a good point. But like the system was built prematurely overnight,
Yeah.
and it allowed a lot of loopholes because they wasn't accounting for it. They was
And then that's why I said take that L.
Yeah.
Y'all, I get it.
I mean,
I
nobody
get it.
really. I don't see too many people getting.
no. they're
But
not-
yeah, that's true. It's really the ones who really went crazy, like 20 million shit like that. Like they the most part, huh?
Did you see the story a week ago? The dude,
Baby
24
Blue.
million, Baby Blue.
Baby Blue,
He
yeah.
did 1 year. He came out smiling. He's like, 1 year for 24 million.
And he still got bread.
That's probably why he's smiling. He's buried some shit somewhere. And like, you know, and even him, like, he wasn't exactly like who the people I'm talking about, but
Right.
shit, he got over it. Oh well, it's niggas that get over it everywhere, bro.
But
So
here's
it's
the
like,
problem
I don't
with
really care.
The problem was, but when it all has to be paid back, because they're gonna get their money.
Right.
You best believe it. They're gonna get their money, and
Yeah, because you say he still got money left, but he still got a lot of debt to pay, too.
he's got a lot of debt to pay,
Yeah.
and then the taxpayers have to fund that back.
It depends on what he did with the money. If he flipped that shit, he still got bread.
He might have flipped it.
They
He might be able to pay his debt and still have something.
Mhm.
Right? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if he got indicted, because if he got that indictment, they're gonna close down all your business.
They're gonna freeze it all up. Yeah.
So your LLCs had to remain nameless, right? But the thing was that they're gonna get they may not. I don't see a lot of people getting locked up. Like
Yeah, that's true. Unless, like I said, unless you took him for some millions,
millions.
Yeah.
You took them for a run.
they're not getting locked up. And I'm cool with that. I ain't gonna be celebrating niggas getting locked up like left and right because they took 20 grand from the government. Like,
Nah, I
it
ain't
is what it
celebrating
is.
jail time.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, do you, bro? I was too cowardice. I always get caught for shit. Like, I had a thing with my taxes a couple of years ago. Scared me. I ain't trying.
Yeah. It's one of my biggest regrets, bro. Not getting no money.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, too, I'm like, damn, maybe I could have, because none of these niggas. I know somebody very close to me who got a lot of.
I know too.
Went and got a lot of shit done.
Yeah, I know people that got 20 and 30.
Yeah,
And
and they fine.
They ain't do shit with it.
They ain't do right. They ain't do shit.
They ain't do shit now though.
Huh?
They ain't do shit now.
They don't do shit now.
It could, like he was saying, you know, somebody gonna have to pay.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It may not affect them now. It may affect them later on.
That's what I'm saying. That and now, and unfortunately, that would be fucked up. I hope it doesn't.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I hope it doesn't have to come back and bite them in the ass. But it's a big possibility it will, and they will have to answer for the consequences. Don't get me wrong. Like they still have to answer for the consequences. But I just think it's like it's corny so much that we spend so much time going after poor people when rich people get away with murder. Like, how about for one, you're covering Kyrgyzstan, right? The opioid pandemic. You know, a lot of that came from prescription drugs.
Yes.
All they had to, don't people go to jail? The company?
They paid though.
They pay money. That's exactly. When rich people fuck up, they pay with
Free
money.
market.
When poor people fuck up, they pay with their time and getting time spent away from their family. That's fucked up to me.
I'm gonna say something that's completely honest. I'm gonna get to 2 points. Number one, now when you ever heard of the opioid settlement fund?
No.
So the opioid settlement fund is the city of Philadelphia was granted $200 million over the span of 18 years. The federal government did sue. It was a team of Republicans and Democrats that held the people that made the prescription drugs and opioids. They held them accountable. They got sued.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the cities that were affected by opioids, they made them say, okay, we're going to sue you. And all that money that you did, you did the opioids destroying the community, that money that we're going to sue you for, we're going to distribute this money that we got from you into the inner city. That was a group of Democrats and Republicans coming together, and yeah, they agreed on that. It was just like, well, the city of Philadelphia is hugely affected by the opioids, so they got the opioid settlement fund, $20 million.
What do they do with it?
It's not. It just got it.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm about to say. Okay.
And we gonna get into that.
Right.
So now the first year, Mayor Kenny said, I want that $20 million fund for the first year, because Mayor Kenny looking like, well, this is his last year, this is his last rodeo.
Mm.
He like, well, I don't know what y'all gonna do when I leave, you know, but this $20 million, the things that I wanted to do, like, he may not be able to get safe injection sites, but he has methadone on wheels. So he's going to be placing methadone clinics on wheels, like labs on wheels. You can just walk up and get some methadone. And the reason why he did that was because he felt like, well, methadone is a less elusive drug.
Yeah, it's
not
the coping
trained.
drug. It's the coping to get off of heroin.
Yeah. So people like for instance, there's some, I don't know if the studies are true, but they say that you can't OD on methadone.
Yeah, I think so. I believe that's supposed to be true.
Yeah, so they say you can't die on methadone. Your body is shut down once it reaches a certain volume
But
of dosage.
But I also think I heard that it can lead to like if your addiction bad enough, you end up being addicted to that.
Yeah, you will. You
so-
definitely will. Now here's the thing. So, like the trank. So in our community in Kensington, we have this thing called tranquilizer, and we have fentanyl. They put fatty inside of pills, right?
Most of that shit is fentanyl.
Yeah,
Like
it's fentanyl.
real perks is so hard to find now. Like all y'all doing is like fucking with those fake pills, and then all you do is capture the wrong day. Unfortunately.
Yeah, my friend. I have my friend Carmelo. You know, he almost died. That's my best friend. I don't understand how it could happen. I have another friend who passed away from fentanyl, and I have another good friend. I cried, and I didn't even know he passed away. It was like I didn't hear from him in a while, and I called up, and it was just like he died. And I remember I was at Penn's Landing. I was with my daughter in the summer, and it was like the shock value of it, like this. He did. I'm like, how? He died popping pills, prescription pills, but it wasn't prescription because it was prescription. It was real.
Right.
But it was street pills, fentanyl, and he died. So I lost two friends. I almost lost my friend Carmelo, and his wife saved his life. And the opioid settlement fund is geared to give him $200 million to be spent over an 18-year span. I think it's $20 million is going to be spent this year. mandatory by the mayor because he said he wanted that first $20 million spent. By the time he leave, when he leave, that $20 million leave.
Oh wow.
So he's doing that.
Well, he got a lot. He got a lot to do in a little bit of time.
But here's the good.
When we going for a new mayor in November?
November. Yeah, November. January 1st, I believe, will be his January 1st or 2nd. I want to say January 1st or 2nd. The new mayor gets ushered in. But they with that $20 million, I got the paper at home. But here's some things I do know about it. A portion of the $20 million that's going to be spent this year will be pushed for methadone lab clinics. Another, also a distribution of allotment of the funds will be going towards nonprofits that do a good job in the community, like housing the homeless population. It's a huge breakdown of it. I can't break it all the way down, but those are two facts that I do know for sure that they're going to be doing with that. Now, my problem with that is there are nonprofits that I think needs to show a report card. And what I mean by that is show your report. How many people you help? Why is taxpayers, well, that ain't taxpayers' money, but why is the money going to nonprofits if they're not showing the report? Show me how many people you save, right? Because you ain't gonna get this money. You're only gonna get this money through government. That opioid settlement fund money through government. They should be prone to showing, okay, how many people you saved? What did you do? How did you help people? Because I'm gonna tell you something. There's a lot of scamming nonprofits out here. Mm-hmm. Like I remember the March of Dimes was a scam. Kim Kardashian also had a nonprofit that was a scam. Like there is no. If you got $100 million and we are all on the board of this nonprofit, there is nothing that can stop you from. If you got $100 million, we can only give. We can give $1,000 out there, $100 million, and say we help. There's nothing illegal about that.
Right.
It's just unethical.
Right.
People would start fucking with you like, damn, you said it's a march of dime, but they only got a penny.
Because all they got to say is a portion of the proceeds is going to What's.
Don't matter to them.
Legally, it only got to be 1%.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
And the money needs, in the nonprofits, the money needs to be spent through the fiscal year. There should be no money left over going into the new year. Like you could have it, but if you have a budget, there should be no profit to gain from that. That's what nonprofit is. Another thing I wanted to talk about was we talked about the PUA, the PPP. Like, this is what scares me about reparations. Like, that right there was like, okay, so, like, it looks like a trap. Like we should get reparations. We should get reparations, but then my thing is, if you get $20,000 or $100,000 or $150,000 for reparations act, without the education, we're just going to spend it right back and put it in the same hands of the people that oppressed us, or believing the ideologies of keeping certain type of people down. So that's the only thing that scares me about reparations. Like without the education, it's like you can't say in order for you to get $150,000 out of reparations, you have to make it mandatory to take education. But that's what scares me, because you've seen what they did when they got the PPP, when they got $12 grand. The PPP loan paid over, I believe, like $30,000 when you break down all the payments. Right. It may be more over the span of 2 years. So if you broke that down and just say, here's 40, 50 grand, that settlement, when they gave out the PPP and PUA, you know what they're going to do. They're going to go buy the fanciest cars. They're going to go up to Kinko Person Mall. And I tell myself, I'm like, James, will just mind your business, because it's their money and they should be allowed to do what they want with it. But the entire thing about making money is to become independent. And I'm afraid that, a lot of African American people, if they do get reparations and come up to an agreement on it, that we're just going to be putting it back into the same hands of the people that oppress us.
And my thing was reparations, that it could, I feel like reparations could look a lot different than some people think it needs to be. It might not be able to be cash in hand. But how about let's start with at least making sure our schools are not funded by the poor taxes in that community, and actually funded by, correctly, so our kids can be better educated, and when they grow up and they want to go to college or start a business, their reparations will be something like that, because they'll be better educated. because I'm just like,
So
because I get it, like
not always in the form we can get reparations and like land or property
and land,
That's all it
property,
has to be.
and community. Like just improve minorities' community could be reparations. Our communities are trash.
Doesn't have to be a cash payout.
It don't have to be a cash payout, and not in that. And not in that way. Like I said, it should. Like you said, you don't think education based would work. Like maybe if a adult African American adult male female wants to go and educate themselves, it should probably be some type of reparations budget or something like that for black. You know, like stuff like that. It don't have to be like, oh, here go 20 grand, go to the strip club. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different ways to do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to give us nothing. Everybody, Jewish people got reparations. Every community got reparations for their pain and suffering, except for black people.
The biggest reparation? Native Americans. Them casinos. Then I think that I don't know what state it was, but they get like 150 grand, I believe, when they touch 18.
Damn.
Yeah, like it's somewhere around there.
That's like the only people that got it just for the black people. They got wiped out. Like their population is so small, and it's like that's crazy because
very small. That's why they were
very small, and it's like they were the ones that were here first, and their population is very small.
Easier to give them reparations. Than
Yeah, how about that? Then it's like that made it easy for them. Y'all wiped them out. Y'all pretty much extinct them.
We taking over. Like the black population is getting bigger and bigger. So
I think we're at 17% right now.
17.
Yeah,
not bad.
They said in about 30 years it will be a lot bigger. So that's like their fear.
I agree, man. The majorities they're going down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what kicks in with critical race theory. Like I don't know if you ever heard of critical race theory when they
I heard a little bit about that.
Yeah, so they feel like a lot of other ethnicities are growing, and it's going to make them the new minority, and with that comes fear. Like not every Caucasian person believes in critical race theory, but for the ones that are, they probably feel like, well, damn, if we are the minorities, that means we're not going to get a bulk of the resources, and we'll just be put on the back end. That's their fear.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I don't know, I think the college was in Virginia.
Their fear has been our reality for 400 years. Imagine that.
Yeah. I think it's a college. I believe it's a college in like West Virginia. I believe. I don't know. I think it's somewhere. And they said if you go to your YouTube and you put in the college, and you put the thing down that says Jews will not replace us. You seen that? You seen it? And they was walking down with the tiki torches that they bought from Walmart.
It was wilding. I remember.
Yeah, they were all in the line screaming, "Jews will not replace us," because they believe in critical race theory. They believe that maybe not in numbers, but in the sense of power, that Jews are going to control them and replace them.
I don't know why people being so hard on the Jews. They need to stop messing with the Jews, man. Stop messing with the Jews.
See that new movie?
Huh? What's that?
You People.
I did just see that.
Yo, somebody just said that. Yo, I was
You people going out there, and it's crazy because we had a little thing, and I meant to actually apologize to the young lady at our live show. She was technically right when she said, remember we got. She was like, "Ain't no Jews in Cheltenham." What I should have said was Montgomery County, because Cheltenham, Montgomery County, Elkins Park. My grandmother lived. I used to live up there with my grandmother for a couple of years when I was younger. And there's a huge Jewish community.
Yeah, I grew up there to my synagogue.
Right, it's synagogues and everything around there. And I think I said at the show, I said Cheltenham because it's so close.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it kind of feels like the Cheltenham area, but really it's Montgomery County.
Yeah.
So I used to live up there, and I was like in third grade. I was like 4 of black kids. Everybody else was white Jewish. But I was telling them, like, I never experienced racism over there. Like, they were cool as hell. Like, they would invite me to their birthday parties. I've been birthday parties over there. I was the only black kid at the birthday party. Never felt like it. Well, okay, so when I was there, I was in a younger age, so if I had stayed living with her, I probably would have got to that. But I was there. I moved back to Philly around like 10.
It's 13, right?
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, you could also get it as a grown person as well. I remember, you ever seen that video with Drake and Lil Wayne?
Yeah.
HYFR, hell yeah. Right?
Hell yeah,
HYFR. And it was almost like he celebrated his bar mitzvah again because that getting caught up in Hollywood, it kind of like pulled him away from his religion, and he felt like he had to do the bar mitzvah thing all over. So there are people that still get bar mitzvahs a lot older. You know what I mean? So I'm one of them.
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, I was older.
Awesome.
When I got
That's
mine.
what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't stay. Like I said, I moved back to Philly around like 10, so I didn't get to know them long enough to go to bar mitzvahs. But if I had stayed, I probably would have ended up at a couple of bar mitzvahs. But yeah, but they were all cool. They would come to my crib. They was Jewish people got no problem. It wasn't until I got back to Philly and then I went to high school. Started going to high school with Catholic white people. Then I started to experience racism.
Question for you.
Like that's why I'm like, oh, these white people, these motherfuckers is racist, dog.
I can see that.
Yeah, like,
Philly. I met more racist people in Philly than outside of Philly.
but I just think in general, I'm just saying in general, like, and I'm a practicing Christian, but white Christians are more likely to be racist than white Jewish people. That's the point I'm pretty much making.
I think, the Jewish people I've encountered have been kind.
Yes.
Like you said, like white Christians, they're real judgmental.
A little more judgmental.
And that's not how you should go about religion at all.
Right.
I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about people comparing what blacks went through with slavery to Jewish people in the Holocaust? Like, how do you even think that should even be something that people should even talk about?
Oh, how it was going? You talk about how it's going in on the movie, huh?
Yeah, because I've been thinking about it. I wanted to ask him that because I think more people actually do have that conversation, but it's just not broadcasted.
Yeah, I don't. So I think it's a unfair. What do you call that? Comparison. Because everyone's experience is different, right? And there are things that happen to European Jews, African Jews, living in Europe, and they've been pulled away from their land, they've been killed, and then you look at African Americans, we come off the ivory coast, we put on slave boats, we're torn away from our home, just the quality of life, and we were killed. But the thing that I looked at was, is it unfair comparison? Because the Jewish community still gets hated just as much as the black community, right? Like you have that.
In certain ways.
In certain ways, right? But here's the thing. Is it unfair? We was fighting for freedom in America for almost what? It was not even just in America. Like we was just, because we were getting sold from people even in Egypt. They was turning the people in, right? So we've been fighting to get out of bondage for almost 400 or 500 years.
We was in slavery for 300, then we had 100 years of oppression.
Yeah, so it's 400 years. There we go. Thank you for confirmation.
No problem.
So 400 years, and then you look at the Jewish community, and it's probably half of that time. But what I want to say is it's a very unfair comparison.
Yeah.
Because we both experienced.
I was about to say that would be my big takeaway from it is like pain is pain. Those people went through a lot in the Holocaust, and obviously our people went through a lot during the slave trade and oppression in our own country. The only part I'll probably get off at is like obviously I think like I said already, like Jewish people got the benefit off their pain a lot more than black people in this country. Like they got, like I said, they got in their form of reparations. A lot of them are in higher places in the country. I don't believe the narrative they control shit. I think that is unfair and stupid. I think that's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a weird stereotype. It's a weird stereotype. It's so weird. It's kind of weird to be offended by it. Like, don't get me wrong. I just don't Jewish people get, because it's like black people get those type of stereotypes. Like it's like black people. Well, I guess we got a couple, like we run fast, like shit like that. We do got some stereotypes that are good, but it's like I don't know, like being a stereotype as a usher controller. I don't know, it's just kind of weird, but I understand it. And the problem I have is that that people do need to realize that they did get the benefit of their suffering a little bit more, and are in better positions, but that's not exactly their fault. That's another thing too. Like Like, they just took the opportunity that was given to them.
Yeah.
We just want ours. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to, like, take out of their pockets, but it's like, well, shit, what happened to ours?
I'm gonna say something that's real. And when I'm the Jewish community, the Jewish has more like a system in the community.
Right.
Yeah.
Ours, we don't have it.
You don't have no
Well,
system.
I would say to that, I would say because every time we tried to form collegian or organization, they killed it. Every single time we tried to organize, gather our own, like they let the Jewish people gather their own resources, communities, and businesses. Black Wall Street, redlining, crack epidemic that has been it's so weird how every TV show just casually admitting that the CIA put crack in black neighborhoods,
That's a fact.
putting it in winning award-winning TV shows and acting like that's not a big fucking deal. Like, it's a huge deal. You know how many families I know that has been affected by crack in my community and my family?
Shit, my own family.
Yes, my own family. And we're just talking about it now like, oh yeah, well, you know, Reagan, he just happened to put a couple of pounds of crack in the hood. You know, that shit just...
Yeah,
It's like, dog. It's like, how was black people was formed? How were we really given a chance to really win? And unfortunately, we're so powerful that a lot of us still did win through all that shit.
So here's the funny
They
thing.
still couldn't kill us.
So you push crack and cocaine or crack into the neighborhoods. You push drugs into the neighborhoods, and then you come up with this elusive thing. It's a war on drugs. So if you take the resources from the community and then you drop off a bunch of, how you give the crack to some large drug dealer. The drug dealer then, puts it into the neighborhood, and then you turn around and say it's a war on drugs. And then you take the resources from the community to lock everyone up. It's like the form of an indentured servitude. Like when you go to prison, you can't vote. When you get out, and every state is different. But when you're locked up behind the wall, they're not bringing the voting poll to the damn jail cell, right? It's almost like that saying I used to hear back then when my stepfather, rest his soul, he used to say, well, voting season's coming, so try to stay out of trouble. So because the notion was that he told me was when voting season comes around, they try to lock up as many black people as they can.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I don't know how true or factual it is. I don't like
The statistics behind that.
I don't know the statistics.
I do know the traffic stops seem to pick up.
Yeah, so I don't know how true that is, because I don't have statistics and data. But I remember him saying that. I remember him saying that. But there were things that prevented African American people from coming together and building a community, because there were a lot of infiltration going on, and we even had a lot of moles in our community. Like we had, you think about Fred Hampton. Remember Fred Hampton in Chicago?
You watched that movie?
Yeah, I watched
the
Messiah.
That was a good ass movie, man.
It's a very good movie. He had a mole. His own friend did that to him.
Yeah.
Like even in certain parts of Northern Africa, they was selling their own people for a profitable gain. And we have those type of things. Now the thing is that it goes back to education. If we educate ourselves and come together as a community. Like for instance, if they drop 2 bottles of water right there, and we all 4 had to split that 2 bottles of water for 30 days until the next one comes in. Instead of killing each other, how about we like, yo, we gotta make the most out of the little.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be in here, because that's what happens in the hood. It's not a lot of you put 2 bottles of water.
Not a lot of research. Everybody fighting for it.
And they start fighting for it, and then they start to go to drastic measures like killing each other. Like the usual drama, not like the drill music, not that shit, but like the resources wise, like people like, yo, I gotta have this guy's corner.
Mm-hmm.
And greed starts to take shape, because he's like, yo, he's making me 60, 80,000, and I'm making 20. I might want to, take his 60 and make it, to my 20. Now I have 80,000. But if we've worked together with the limited resources, we'll be able to go far. We just can't keep going at each other's necks.
Absolutely.
All right, two more things I think we want to touch on before we let you go. One thing, since we was talking about the Jewish religion, some little bit more sports wise. Do you follow sports?
Yeah, I follow sports.
How'd you feel about the whole Kyrie situation? With him posting the movie on Amazon, even though he didn't watch it, but him posting it, the lack thereof with the apology initially, just the whole saga.
I think it was insensitive and a rush to judgment because you didn't watch the movie, but yet you had the claim and then you put it out there. Like me, I'm always careful about what I put out there.
Okay.
Because I don't like spreading fake news. I'm like Trump with that, man. I don't like spreading fake news.
Understandable.
At least it was a rush of judgment, and it was very insensitive. Because had that been done from the Jewish community, then there'd be a lot of pushback for that. So I think that it was a bad move. But if you listen to Kyrie Irving speak, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Like a lot of people get those two conflicted. You're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts. That's why you got to be very careful when you're saying something, because if it's facts, you can't dispute facts.
And my thing only about it was that if he did want to just make a direct point to that, but he didn't know he was offended, then own up to that. Be like, oh, I was just trying to make this one point, but I understand why you guys have an issue with overall. Because like the way I compared it, like we had a pot about it, and I was thinking like, because I always like when it's hard for me to understand something that I'm not a part of, I try to like reverse it, and try to get out of it. And I thought about a movie called Birth of a Nation.
Yeah, I remember Birth of a Nation.
Movie.
Very great movie.
No, not that one. I must be saying it wrong.
You're not talking about the joint with
Nat Turner.
Nat
That's
Turner.
what you're talking about. I'm talking about another Birth of a Nation, or it might be like something of a nation.
Who's in it?
It's a. Let me get to it. It's an old movie. I can't exactly remember the title, but it's something like Birth of a Nation or Made in a Nation. It was the first ever movie that propagandized the KKK and made them look like here. Like they had a bunch of white actors put on black makeup.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
They was going through the towns, raping the white women, and the KKK came through on horses and saved everybody. It's like from the 50s. It's old as hell.
Black and white film.
It's a black and white film.
And they have music playing in the background.
Yes, very old movie, very crazy. It's the first ever movie that championed the KKK. That's what got them aboard. That's what legitimized them.
Yikes.
And I was thinking, if somebody took out of context a clip from that movie and say they had a point to make just from that clip, but it's like, well, this movie overall is not a good movie. I don't care what context you talk about with that one clip. Right. That fucking movie is trash. Like, it's against my people, and it started a genocide. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I definitely understand. So when I looked at it that way, I definitely more so understood what people were saying what Kyrie did. I just wish he was, I don't think he meant it. I just wish he was more clear about his apology and like, you know, what he was trying to do. But that was my thing. But yeah. I didn't agree with the whole, I hate the whole cancel and get rid of him. Like, I think like allow people to make mistakes, allow yourself to educate people. Yeah. And like everybody don't have to be
educated.
Yeah. And not everybody gotta agree about everything at the same time too. Like, well, trying to do that cancel shit. Like,
the cancel thing is strong. A lot of comedians are getting canceled, and it takes away the art. A lot of artists are getting canceled. Because I look at it like all of these different communities. You got the LGBTQ community, you have the feminist community, you have all of these communities, and they're all fighting. You look at it and go, who the most relevant, right? Everybody's fighting for the most relevancy, who has the most power. But it all boils down to one thing. All of these communities, whether you're in the black community, LGBTQ, feminists, whatever, we're all fighting for one thing, and we know what that is? Respect. Respect. I may be different from you. We may have a different point of view, but I respect.
Okay.
As long as we don't disrespect me, that's
all that matters. I believe like people naturally feel that way too.
Absolutely.
Men especially.
Should.
Oh yeah, especially
men.
Yeah,
I do.
There's a lot of disrespect going on out here.
Respect is very important to me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so respect is very important, especially amongst men, right? Like they always say there's no honor amongst thieves. You know what I mean? That causes a lot of war.
Yeah, let me see. So we're going to add a new segment that we just put together on the podcast. So this will be a little interesting real quick for us. I'm going to drop a bomb on that. All right, so every week we're going to be pulling the status from Facebook, a tweet, or Instagram post. And we're going to elaborate on this. Our first one this week, a good brother of mine from Southwest, my guys are here, He said no shade. It's Eagles and everything going on right now. He said no shade. Why are the Kelsey brothers overshadowing the historical significance of two black quarterbacks starting the Super Bowl? And this is a Black History Month. Why are we celebrating their mom for simply giving birth when Jalen Hurts' dad actually coached his son? Question mark. I didn't really say too much. I just put white America. He told me to bring it up on the podcast. It would lead to interesting dialogue. What do you think about that status or that status I just wrote? I just read over.
All right, so I'm looking at. I haven't really paid attention.
So
to
do you know who the Kelsey brothers are?
Yeah. Travis
Okay.
Kelce.
Yeah.
I'm a Chiefs fan.
Are
My
you?
second
Shit.
favorite
Oh
team.
man.
I was a Chiefs fan since 2003, the Priest Holmes days.
Priest Holmes days.
Priest Holmes days.
But
Eddie Kennison.
Yeah.
Dante Hall.
Yeah.
But back to what you were saying, I haven't really watched a lot of or read up into sports because I was like so busy with.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to have a comment on it. But if that did, if the historic part of two African American quarterbacks going against each other,
That's the headline.
that's
They
I've seen it in
talk
the
about
headlines,
that.
but I just haven't went really dissolved myself into it. Like,
Right.
I haven't really been watching sports lately because I've been busy with my family and doing politics and running my company, just balancing things. Like, so I can't answer it because I don't know. I haven't indulged in because I evidently he's talking about the news press, the
Right.
media,
Yeah.
and I haven't gotten around to that. So it's hard. I can't answer it.
You think it's being overshadowed?
I think it is, but I'll give it a little bit of a benefit of doubt and say it might be a couple of reasons why. One, I don't think it's that rare for a dad to coach their son. Like that probably happened over 100 times
Yeah, I got coached by I got coached from my dad.
Like a lot of I'm pretty sure I don't have a number, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of quarterbacks in the league or been through the league who was coached by their fathers. So that might not be as strong as a storyline as people think. Two, maybe his dad is private. A lot of people families don't want to be public. A lot of people families rather be in the background. I haven't seen Jalen Hurts' dad. We see John Morant dad every goddamn game. We know he wants to be known. You know what I'm saying?
The Ball brothers.
The Ball brothers dad. We know what dads wants to be known. So Jalen Hurts' dad might want to just play the background.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to NFL, we know there's more than enough racist shit going around that we don't gotta try to start stretching for shit, reaching for shit, as I say. So, like I said, I've seen the narrative about the two black quarterbacks. That was the first thing they started talking about. This is the first time two black quarterbacks are going against each other. That's a storyline. The Kelsey brothers are a storyline because it's the first time two brothers have gone against, and they're not just two brothers. They're both like the best at their position.
I would say they're very likable guys.
Yeah, they're very likable guys. They started a podcast. They podcast brothers.
Yeah.
They started a podcast this season. So happened that also the same season they started a podcast, they both going to see each other.
You know what else I want?
So it's a lot to talk about there. I just think the Jalen Hurts thing is just kind of just flying on the radar because nobody propped it up. That's all. I don't think it's racist.
I can get your point, but I want to say this: we truly do this so often. When we always do like a comparison between the two. Had I been in reading newspapers and really watched, I don't watch the Pro Bowl. I watch the Super Bowl.
Right.
So I don't watch.
Even though they're about to do a weird sidebar, they're about to do flag football this year. That's the kind of weird.
They did it already.
Oh, they did it already. I missed
Last
it.
week,
Oh, fuck it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
But what I'm saying is like, we need to understand this. It's like if for instance, if you got your own platform and you're like, you know what, I got my own platform. You may not want to talk about it on CNBC, but I'm gonna talk about it on my platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna talk about it on mine. We can't like. I feel like as in the African American community, we always try to push to be on shows like you can take the Oscars or you may take the Grammys or stuff like that. If you feel like my grandma always told me this, if you feel like it's a place that don't want you, don't go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like make your own. I'm not asking for your approval.
Right.
So we're gonna prop this up in ours, and that's what I'm saying about building community. Like our communities, we've been brainwashed to just like, you know what? Oh well, why he got that? Why I got that? Why they doing this? Man, screw all that. You don't want to talk about it on Fox Sports or ESPN. Screw it. We're gonna talk about it. You know, on Big Steppa's podcast.
Absolutely. And that's actually a really good point, because I would actually say that to your friends, like, why do it matter to talk about? We talking about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all talked about it.
Okay.
As long as we know, fuck it. Right.
The inner.
Yeah, we no more of that, man. It's time to build community. I'm not asking why anymore. I'm not asking why Will Smith didn't, won a Grammy at this one, or an Oscar, or why
Beyonce get the album of the year again.
I'm not caught up. There's real stuff going on, but I don't. That's stay that. Man.
They were sick about Beyonce not getting that award.
Yeah,
man.
so I'm like, Beyonce getting a Grammy, like my life's still the same.
It doesn't affect
and her life is still the same. That's what's really important. No money got taken out of Beyonce's pocket that night.
Her value went up.
Still look good.
Her value went up. She got the most Grammys ever.
Her value definitely went up.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the frustration sometimes, but it's just like we gotta contextualize things and realize what's really important.
She didn't lose though. Like on this topic, she didn't lose.
Yeah, but they're frustrated that she never won Album of the Year. Because it's the biggest award that you could get.
Hey.
Or like, all right, look, they a lot of I'm gonna get piss people off again. They say I love rock and roll. Let's get that clear. I'm a really huge ass rock and roll fan. Chuck Berry, like Chuck even Berry. Some of the Chuck Berry, the Hole and Wolf, all of those guys back when Cadillac Records was popping, and. African American people introduced.
So you like rock and roll, the original rock and roll.
Yeah. My last question for you was going to ask you, what do you listen to? Like as a, what I'm saying, what do you listen to on a regular basis? Like what gets you going music wise?
Genre or just artist?
Both. Genre, artist.
If I'm gonna go genre, like the rock music get me going. Hip hop, they like on the same thing, but what really get me going is the oldies music, like. Like you got the wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. Like the lyrics like that.
I started that at my 8th grade graduation.
Yeah,
it's soothing.
Yeah, it's very soothing. like I wanted to say this before we get off. Like, because I want to make this point across. You know how a lot of artists, hip hop artists, get mad if they're not introduced into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I'm like, yo, that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Why don't y'all make your own hip hop Hall of Fame? Right. Like, why are you they released the hip hop list? I don't know if y'all seen it.
Yeah, I just saw that today. Yeah.
Like my friend is sitting and said, "What do you think about it?" I say nothing.
Yeah.
Like, who made this list? And they go, and I looked about who made the list, and
it's Billboard.
It's it's 6
white company. Yeah.
Like I go and I go like, how much does this person? Not because of the fact that they're Caucasian, but how much does this person truly know about hip hop or American hip hop? They might be in Europe somewhere. Like it's like when I watch like hood documentaries, and then there's some dude from Europe talking about what's going on in Chicago and Philly. I'm like, what the hell?
It's funny you say that. I definitely stumbled upon those, and as I was watching, it started to hit me. I'm like, I'm really watching a white dude tell me what's going on in the middle of the hood that he never stuck for them. Like, that shit is kind of crazy. And it's crazy because those content creators get the views, get the subs.
Yeah, they get the most.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, the black content creators, of course, it's harder for us.
Yeah, but I do. So that's the point. Like, I'm not crushing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but hip hop and rock and roll is two different genres.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So like a lot of I remember it was a rock band that was like, they had a problem with a certain artist getting in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It wasn't a black artist, it was two Caucasian artists. And the rock group was like, well, how they in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when they're not rock and roll? Like, I had a problem with that. Like, I was like, why are we, like, if create your own.
Yeah, I don't
create
think
the
it's
hip
that
hop
hard.
Hall of Fame, right?
It's that hard.
Like, I don't even think
that. Get together.
Yeah, like, I don't think, like it is, to me, when it comes to music, right, and you do have some ethnicities that culture bite and for the swag of hip hop, but you even have like the African Americans who don't even come from that type of environment biting as well and swagger jacking and don't even live that, just rapping about it because it's cool. But I remember J. Cole said he don't think he don't like Eminem. He don't like a couple of other white hip hop artists. He had a problem with it, and I was just like, how? Like Eminem from 8 Mile, like he grew up. Like I got a brother that's Caucasian DJ. Like he don't say the N word, but like he's just as hood as us. Like he literally like you would think that you're like yo like the way he talking this mannerism because he grew up in the environment.
I know a few.
I know, yeah.
They don't play.
Close friends. Yeah.
They really get down, right? And they know it. Like they know the hood. So it's like I'm like I ain't agree with that, J. Cole. But what I want to say is this: when it reaches the hip hop list, it's bullshit. Like they got a lot of great artists. I'm not saying the artists that was on that list didn't deserve to be there, but people being in the uproar about it, that's a company's opinion. They don't know shit about hip hop. Why we got our panties in a bunch?
Yeah, people with the internet like the amplify shit.
Yeah, it's like a person that listened to jazz music somehow listens to hip hop music for 6 months and he thinks that he knows the culture enough to judge who needs to be on the list. Well, I'm not worried about that, man. We gonna that list.
Absolutely. Well,
community, everybody, community.
We want to get you out there, but our conversation it went so many places, and I usually ask people on here. It's one of the first questions I usually ask. So real quick, just try to answer as fast as you can. What motivates you to do what you do? Because that's all we about motivating other people who might want to get into politics like you had. Like just a little bit of that real quick, and then you can end us off. You can go in and end us off with what's next for you and shout outs and stuff.
Got it. So what motivated me to do what I'm doing now is because I'm truly defining trying to fix my community up. I remember growing up in Frankfurt and even living in Brooklyn, and I was always just like, yo, I wanna leave. You know how they say, yo, I can't wait to leave. I can't wait to leave. The problem with that is it affects your mindset. You don't want to go back. Like you focus on running so much to the point that you don't want to go back. I went back to Frankfurt a year and a half ago, like 2 years ago, and I was driving and I drove. I'm like, you know what? Let me go back there. Yo, to be honest with you, bro, I cried. I was like, damn, man. Like I literally cried because I was like, yo, ain't no YMCA, ain't no POW. The Frankfurt CDC just went back up. We had the Ray and Joe Kroc Community Center. We used to have Thriftway at Bridge and Pratt. The Avalons used to be bustling. The parks were all built up. We had a swimming pool. A couple of the elementary schools.
They don't even bother opening swimming pools anymore, do they?
Yeah, they do, but certain ones because they gotta have city budget. You gotta have people staff, and the city budget have to allow you to do that. But when I went back to Frankfurt, I'm like, yo, like. This is the part of Philadelphia. Like nobody talk about it. Like I'll be out at bars, whatever it may be, and nobody talks about it, and it burns a hole in my ass. It really does, bro. It made me angry, like to the point where, oh man, I don't really want to say that. It got to a point where I got so passionate about it, and I felt like this certain person, I'm not gonna say his name, wasn't listening to me. I wanted to do something that was a bit unprofessional, go off on them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, how do you like? No, not a lot of people. Frankfurt goes underneath the radar because we're overshadowed by Kensington.
Mm-hmm.
Frankfurt goes underneath the radar. People are like, yo, Frankfurt a good community. Go there and get your ass popped. Don't play.
Yeah. That's
Don't
why I started off at. I started off Frankfurt and Highgate. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't. It's not sweet around there.
Yeah, everybody said, oh, like, I got a friend named. I'm gonna say his name because I'm gonna put you on blast. He's like, man, because he's from North Philadelphia. He comes from Strawberry Mansion, which is a very dangerous neighborhood.
Yeah, no strawberries around there.
Ain't no strawberry in there. You ain't gonna find that there. Ain't no strawberry in there. And he said to me, he's like, I was like, yo, come on, like we not. It's a comparison bullshit I've been telling you about.
Right.
People want.
I'm my hood. We harder.
Hey man, everybody got anywhere. What are you talking about? The outcome is the same. You're dead.
Right. Exactly.
Like, you may do it there more than Frankfurt, but like, it's
you don't want to be in it. Period.
We celebrate it.
Exactly. Like, it's not that deep.
It ain't that deep, man.
Yeah.
So, but the Frankfurt gets overlooked. But my thing is this: if it ain't no POW, it ain't no YMCA. There's just no Thriftway there. It's a food desert. The people, when they get their food stamps, they go on food shopping at bodegas. I mean,
spending
Excuse
like
me.
crazy on
Poppy
crazy.
stores. we gonna
Mad
Philly.
hoagies.
Poppy store.
Mad hoagies.
Yeah, mad hoagies. Yeah,
They got cheesesteak platters too.
That's if they accept
but
no hot food, pal. No hot food. That's
but your food stamps don't go long at the
at the
because it costs more
Yeah.
because the convenience of it,
Mhm.
like the convenience of it. But my thing is this: if you born in Frankfurt and none of those resources there, and you gonna say get a job, be productive, how? I'm in a crazy environment. Ain't no power.
Yeah.
What the hell are the kids gonna do? What the hell is the kids gonna do? They literally gonna get there. You telling me they're gonna get on the L, get off on, I don't know, Burke Street off the L and get on the bus to go to a rec center in North Philly? They're not doing that.
Yeah, that's
So
wild.
and then it's volatile. But that's the main reason, back to what the question you asked me, that's the main reason why I'm motivated to doing what I'm doing, because I'm passionate about this, man. I'm
Right.
really passionate about building our community.
You see it, and it made you mad. I understand. So, real quick before we get out of here, what's next for you? You running for office, or where's the goals that James Whitehead is heading for?
So I'm running for city council in the 7th district. I ran in the special election. What's next for me is to wheel it in, to be elected as 7th district city council. And once I'm elected, I'm going to try to push for inpatient facility treatment centers. I'm also going to push for community centers to be brought back into Frankfurt. I'm going to, because it's different neighborhood. What I learned about the 7th district is more than one neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So each and every neighborhood that has, like I told you, like you think about Strawberry Mansion has more killings than Frankfurt has. So every community is not, every neighborhood is not the same. So with Kensington, the biggest problem that happens to be the drug epidemic. My problem to try to solve that is opening up inpatient treatment facility centers geared around mental health, drug abuse, and behavioral health issues, and giving the people that struggle on drugs a permanent place to stay. That way they don't have to be out there panhandling, that way they don't have to be outside eating, leaving the trash on the streets. That way they can get in-house care from specialists that geared towards behavioral health, mental health, and drug abuse. You know what I mean? That's my answer for how to tackle the drug addiction there. For Frankfurt has a lot of crime, right? But they don't have they don't suffer from the same thing Kensington suffer from. Like when you go to Kensington, Frankfurt, there are some people suiting up, but majority of the cluster of people are down in Kensington, which makes it not the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem that's lacking in Frankfurt's neighborhood is opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
lack of investment, and not a lot of things to do and be proud of. So I want to figure out a way to bring a food market back at Bridge and Pratt, because we have 34 was no longer there, and bring in nonprofits to work inside of Frankfurt, then and helping raise up the home value.
I think I know what market you talk about too on Bridge and Pratt.
Mm-hmm.
That joint did shut down. I don't know.
Shut down.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, that
I shopped there once or twice.
Yeah, and another thing is with bringing in these nonprofits and trying to bring in the big box office stores brings jobs into the community.
Right.
Right? And think about how many people was employed by 34 at Bridge and Pratt
Right.
before it closed down. Think about how convenient it was for the people to get on the L train with a shopping cart and then take the Church Street stop, because ain't nobody's walking home with $300-400 worth of food
I
from
didn't
Bridge
even
and Pratt to church.
think about how that's. I'm thinking about that area because I used to a cousin of mine used to live around there and everything, so I know that area pretty well. There really ain't no markets. You are not lying. There's no markets around the area.
Who the hell gonna go to all the way to Aramingo?
There's no market around
I ain't
Bridge
been
and
out there
Pratt.
in a minute, but
There's no. It's only
Yeah.
corner stores. Maybe you get a mini mart somewhere,
Like
but
a
no.
small mini mart.
Yeah, but no actual grocery stores out there. The closest, I think you might even be closer to Walmart than closer.
Yeah,
Ain't no Walmart not too far from there.
Yeah, so the same distance that Erie and Tarsdale's not. I want to tell you about this. Erie and Tarsdale's not Frankfurt.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Erie and
Tarsdale.
Tarsdale has Aldi, and they also have a Save-A-Lot.
Right.
Now you notice something, like when communities are struggling and poor, we usually get the crappy.
The Save-A-Lots, yeah.
Yeah, who the hell? Come on, man. All that salt and sodium, everything mostly in Save-A-Lot is high processed food with a lot of sugar and salt. They're like, hey, you know, it's convenient. Like, it's cheap. You get what you pay
It's
for.
hard to get a fresh grocer that you're near college.
Yeah, but that's my plan. To fix up, you know, certain parts like West Kensington, East Kensington. Those are, you know, primarily my plans.
Claps on that, bro.
Thank you for coming in, man. First politician in the building. The black Jewish politician, black Republican.
Yeah, man.
I'll be the first. If I get elected, I'll be the first one in history.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I appreciate you coming by. It's been a lot of fun.
And you guys just throw your names up there.
Oh yeah,
and everything
real quick, just throw it.
Force over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the way to find me on Instagram is James Whitehead. Plain and simple. To find me on Facebook, James Whitehead. To find me on Twitter, James Whitehead.
All right. No problem. Thank y'all for thinking for the Steppas. Like and subscribe.
You got it.
For sure.
Thank y'all, man.